So we do a weekly D&D game.
Yep.
And we had an interesting story yesterday, so we're going to talk about that real quick.
Yeah.
So let me start out. They ended up coming across, and a lot of people are going to call me crazy for letting them have it, a deck of many things.
He's crazy.
For those that don't know,
Yeah.
a deck of many things is basically a 22 set of cards that have all kinds of... Yeah, they're basically tarot cards, and they have very different effects, ranging from making wishes, gaining levels, gaining wealth, to death, and having your soul sucked into different universes, and having to fight... Fighting dread race, these terrifying ghosts. So it's kind of dangerous to use a deck of many things, and most DMs won't give them out to their players because it can destroy a campaign. I decided I was going to give it to them because I've given it to them before, but they all know how dangerous it is, and so I wanted to see if they were willing to chance it. But I didn't just give it to them; they had to work for it. So they went delving into a dungeon. They found a secret room that was hidden away. It was like a dwarven contraption. It was hidden. They got really lucky, rolled a high roll.
And thanks to the dwarf in the party.
Yes. They found a small chest, and it had a riddle on the front of it. And so they followed the riddle. It eventually led them to this. It essentially said you have to go to where you can see 3 mountain peaks, and at noon, and the key will be revealed. Well, it literally meant that. You lifted the box up inside of, between your eyes and the mountains, and the box became see-through, and you could actually see the key in the box.
And grab it out of...
And you could grab it out. So they pulled the key out, they opened the chest up, and inside was a deck of illusions. As a decoy. And they rolled a very high, in this case, I think it was a search check.
Yes.
Very high. I think it was a
27.
DC 25. Yeah, DC 25 check that they made. They rolled a 27 on it. And so they found the secret compartment where the hidden deck of many things is. The box itself had been created to hide the deck of many things, and then it had been put away in a dungeon in a secret chamber that was almost invisible to the normal eye to tell apart from the wall because it was made by dwarven craftsmen. It was very hard to come across. They made a lot of very good rolls to come anywhere near it. So the first character in our party decided to draw 3, and everybody thought she was kind of crazy.
Yeah, Mila. Her player had never actually played with the deck of many things before, and actually didn't really know what it did. So her instinctually drawing 3, despite our kind of warnings, when we figured out it was a deck of many things, said, if we're going to draw from this, we need to prepare to not be upset if our characters are completely wiped out.
She crazy.
Right. So the first card she drew was the Ruin card, which means you lose all non-magical items that you possess, you own.
Yes.
Which, funnily enough, technically yes. Although she had magical clothes on, so it was fine. The armor she was wearing was magical, so she didn't lose that. She was wearing like fully studded leather armor. She's a rogue.
By this time, we were level 9, and we had a significant amount of magic.
Yeah, this is in 3.5, not 5e. So everyone has pretty much a full arsenal of at least basically enchanted gear, sort of. The second card she draws, I won't reveal because the players don't actually know what that is yet.
I have a sneaking suspicion what it is, but...
Yeah, that'll play in a future plot point, so I can't reveal that now. And the third card she drew was the Vizier card, which was she can basically ask the DM a question, and I'll give her an answer.
Regardless of what it is.
Or help her solve a problem, which I didn't think was that big of a deal. I think that'll be good. And then we move on to Justin's character.
Yes. Bronze-blooded.
He decided to draw 4 cards.
Yes, I could not be outdone, and despite the danger, I was willing to sacrifice Bront if it was in the effort of entertainment of drawing 4 cards.
Yeah.
Ironically enough...
He drew 4 good cards.
Yes.
So the first card he drew was the Comet, which stated that if he fought the next hostile enemy came across by himself and defeated it, he gained a level, which is a good card. Yeah, he went and fought a goblin, got a level. It wasn't very hard for him. He was level 9 already.
Yep.
The second card was, I believe it was Star. It gives you 2 ability score points.
To any ability.
To any ability, or 1 to any, and you can mix it up that way. Then he drew the same card a second time. Got 2 more ability score points.
So, as a fighter, of course, I decided to put it in Strength and Constitution.
Right.
So, yeah.
So he's a bit stronger than he was before. And then, actually, no, it was what? It was the Star. Then it was Gems, which was 50,000 gold pieces worth of items.
And then Star again.
And then it was Star again. And then he had 4 great cards.
So I ended up going up a level to level 10, getting 4 ability score points to my 2 most relevant abilities, and getting 50,000 gold, which allowed me to buy the Boots of Speed to give me haste, and the Cloak of Displacement to give me a 20% miss chance anytime someone attacks me.
Yeah, it was a little ridiculous how good it went for him.
You're too nice of a DM.
It was a little bit ridiculous how well for it. Well, that's fine. Like, the thing is, they already have the ability to cast haste on demand.
Yes. Oh, okay.
And so it doesn't really change it that much. And the displacement they could also cast.
Yes.
So he's not. It's more of like a static buff rather than him just having to cast the spells.
Exactly.
Now that saves the wizard some spell slots, but I think it lets him move on from some more utility stuff. Where, so I thought that was good. It'd shake up her playstyle a little bit. Then we move on to our sorceress, wizard, whatever you want to call her. I don't remember. Anyway, she decided it was 2 cards.
Yes.
And the first one was, it was the flip to ruin. I can't remember the name of it, but that's the one where you lost all magical items.
Now, luckily, we had been tossing back and forth our bag of holding, so luckily we didn't lose all of our magic items out of there.
Yes, they have a bag of holding with items in it. So they didn't lose the entire party's things. They just lost her own personal things, which is how it states anyway. Yes. Your own personal possessions. So, and then her second card was the Star as well. She got 2 ability score points.
Yes.
So she got away quite well. And then we have an NPC character, and he drew 4 cards.
Yep.
Wait, you let an NPC character draw 4 cards?
Well, what's the worst that happened when the NPC character draws? He dies?
Yeah.
Wait, I thought there was like a destroy the world type card in there or something.
There's a couple of really bad ones, but for the most part, they don't affect everybody else.
But hold up, okay? I'm gonna look up what's
Look them up. The worst one is probably the Dread Wraith.
Yeah.
But it'll only attack that person anyway. Oh. Void one's pretty bad because it sucks your soul to another plane. But like I said, that's essentially just being dead, except you can't be brought back even by a wish. So it's a bit more serious than dying. But there's nothing.
However, back in the day, when I did get the Void with Alatir,
his previous character did actually get the Void.
And my party decided to rescue me by smashing a demon's soul orb and releasing a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, so what happened was this was back, you guys must have been like level 16, towards the end of a campaign. I gave them a deck of many things just to have fun with it, It's the first time we'd used it. And plus one of the players had really wanted to have it. So I was like, he's been searching for it for the entire campaign. I was like, okay, well, let's give it to you at the end. So he gets the Void, and I decide to put his soul in the collection of Dreadlords. And they go to the plane, they grab the orb, they bring it back to the world without the Dreadlord finding out, I believe. No, they might have fought it. I don't remember. You guys were quite high level at the time.
We got out of it because Chase just plain walked, and then Christina just stole it.
Oh, yeah, okay. So anyway, they grab the orb, and they take it to a wizard that they thought could help them. And he's like, yeah, I'm not really strong enough to just pull his soul out of here. Because the Demon Lord had collected all these souls from all the deals he's made over the millennia. Yeah. This is his power base. And so they were like, well, nothing else to do. He just smashed it.
Yes.
And he made a nat 20 roll with a magic weapon, and I allowed it to be sheared in half, releasing hundreds of thousands of souls back into the mortal plane.
Including my character Atlatir's.
Yes, so he returned to his soul, but then all of those souls returned to their bodies as well, becoming ghosts, zombies, skeletons, the like, and they started terrorizing the whole world. It was actually a very interesting quest.
And me being the smart, evil wizard with the Necronomicon.
Yeah, with the Necronomicon, he's like, this is perfect for me.
This is perfect. I decided I was going to take credit for the zombie apocalypse and tried to become a deity.
Yeah. Long story short, he ended up dead.
Yeah. My party conspired against me.
He got a little too arrogant.
My party conspired against me, and my friends who had saved me from the orb ended up ending me.
Yeah, they ended up murdering him. He almost got away, too. It was
Yes,
a very... Anyway, besides
one.
that, so the NPC character from our campaign yesterday, he drew 4. The first one he got was, like I said, the one that... he also got the one that destroyed all magic items.
Yes.
And a lot of his character was actually the fact that he was the off-tank, and he had a high DPS due to his special weapon.
Yeah.
And
fire sword.
he lost his fire sword, which was what the party kind of come to rely on. It was basically like a self-centered fireball that he was immune to.
Yeah.
That he could do once a day. So they'd been using him as kind of like a suicide bomber.
But he didn't get hurt.
Yeah, he didn't get hurt. So, oh why? The second card was he got a powerful magic item. I can't remember the name of the card. He got a powerful major magic item.
I think it was that ice sword.
Yes, and it ended up being an ice greatsword. It was the Frost Brand.
Yes.
It's a specific weapon he rolled. It was very... Because I rolled on the random charts.
I think I'm looking at the 5e.
Yeah, the 5e one's different. And then he got another magic weapon, and this one ended up being, I think it was
almost identical to his...
Yeah, I think it ended up being like a +3 bastard sword with flaming, and I was just like, well, everybody was really sad about him losing the weapon, so I just basically said he found essentially the same weapon again.
Yeah.
I just gave him his sword back. And then the fourth and final one, there was Vizier.
He got Vizier.
He got Vizier as well, and they were like, well, that's, so everybody, nothing bad really happened. I mean,
yeah.
the off-tank lost a couple of his items, but you guys had enough money to just go buy some basic equipment, and he's mostly back to where he was before.
Yeah, I think he's missing like 5 AC or something.
No, it's not even that. I think he's at 24 out of 27 where he was at.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, he's pretty much back to where he was before. He's a little bit weaker, I guess, but it was an interesting experience. And then we had another NPC character drew 8 of them?
Yes.
Yeah, chose to draw 6, and then got the Joker and ended up rolling 9, because it got the idiot card and drew another card.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that one got a couple of wishes, there was a comet, there was a...
And still, like, the worst thing she got...
The worst one was it...
Danjan.
Yeah, the imprisonment, which... She just used a wish... Yeah, just used a wish to get out of it, like... Yeah. So I was like, well...
The tower is the one that immediately loses all wealth and real property.
Yes, I think it was the tower. Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Because it was the... No, the tower is ruin.
Huh? The
tower is ruin. Which is the one that you lose all non-magical items. The other one, I can't remember the name of the other one. Off the top of my head. But... Yeah, so 2 people got that, which was... And unfortunately enough for the party, one of the sorceress got the card that removed all magic items, and she had been keeping all just piles of scrolls and wands and rods and potions that they could use she's basically the support character. So she had wands of healing, buffing wands, all kinds of... So they lost an entire arsenal of equipment. Looking back, I think she ended up losing somewhere around 40,000 to 50,000 gold pieces worth of items.
Yeah, but I got...
She literally had no items on, except for the fact that she had all these wands and these rods and scrolls, and she lost all of it. She had a huge collection just gone. I was like, oh.
So
funny part is, while we were drawing the cards, she was in the middle of rewriting her inventory and a new character sheet to reorganize it, and then she got that card, she just ripped it to pieces and threw it away.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was like, well, I guess I don't need that anymore. Yeah, she was not happy.
Nope.
She was the one that was telling everybody, be careful, it's very bad, it's dangerous. And then he's like, I'll roll 4. I got great cards.
And then she's the one who
She's the one who took it. She only's like, I'll only do 2 just to be safe. And she's the one who got the worst of it.
Only two of the deck ability there.
Right.
To be safe.
Yeah.
So now the deck's used to them. The deck's thing is you can only draw from it once.
Yep.
So
But
per
you have to
character.
choose exactly how many
And you have to,
you're gonna do.
yeah. So you have to choose exactly how many cards you're gonna draw when you start, and you have to keep drawing them no matter what. If you don't draw them within an hour, they'll automatically draw themselves until they get to your point to the allotted amount that you're supposed to draw.
Oh dang.
Yeah. So the only way to not draw any more cards is to get specific cards. Like Don John says, if you get this, you don't draw any more cards.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
But then there are other cards like the Joker and the Idiot that make you draw extra cards.
They don't make you draw. They give you the option to draw more.
Okay.
Well, in 5e there is I believe it is.
There might be one that makes you draw more. I don't remember, but
the Fool makes you draw an additional card, but
that's probably the same one.
To be, yeah,
Yeah.
your same card. So you 2 cards, but 1 draw.
right.
But yeah, no, I was looking at some of these actually kind of look pretty interesting.
It's a very interesting way to just kind of spice things up when you've kind of finished your main thing. This one's kind of a free form one. They're just adventurers, fighting monsters. They don't really have an overarching goal. So and the way it's set up is they're kind of in this guild, and so it's a kind of a drop in drop out. If they just want to make a new character, a new person joins the guild and they go on the adventures with you guys. It's more of a kind of just have fun with it. So I thought worst case scenario, if half the party dies, and they're okay with making new characters, they can just do that,
Yeah,
well, I got somebody.
So it's not like we've been dedicated to these characters, we've been slaving over them for half a year, like some of these campaigns, where like you losing that character's like, I just don't want to play anymore, like we've had to happen with.
So, like, I really didn't want that character to die. Good thing I have a twin brother with same skills and abilities.
No, actually that one worked out. They had a. I think it's a Star Sapphire.
Yeah.
Which is, I think it's the requirement for True Resurrection.
Yep.
And they happened to be at the level where they could cast the spell. And so it was like, it was funny. They had the items and they were like, well, guess we can bring you back.
Yeah.
And you guys were really powerful. You were like level 18 or 19 or some crap.
I ended up getting to level 20 before it ended.
Yeah, you guys got to level 20 in that campaign. And the only reason we stopped was because I said, well, we've made it to 20, and I'm not really ready to do
epic
levels. And so I was like, so let's... we either talked about... At the time, we talked about whether we should just bring them back down to a certain level, the same characters, and keep going. Like, I thought maybe we could do... Or we start a new campaign. So what we did is we started a new campaign in the same...
vein. The same...
universe. Where they could run into their old characters. So I thought it was interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It didn't last nearly as long as the first one, because after you left that characters, it was like things kind of peered out a little bit. But
you did end up reusing Atlatir as an actual god.
Yes, he actually became the villain of the second campaign.
Yep.
Bro, let's see this.
Yeah, I've been using Atlatir for a long time now. He became my demigod villain of choice over the years.
That's my favorite thing when it comes to D&D is when the DM takes an old character and brings them back as the villain, going like, "Look at what you've done for yourself."
Well, and the best part was
created.
The player me built him up as a villain, and therefore it works really well.
Well, the thing is too, you didn't technically die as Atlatir.
Right.
A devil came to collect on his contract and took your soul.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so the devil came and took him. Like, because they had captured him and they had bound him. The devil actually came and reaped his soul.
Was it a demon prince?
Yeah.
Or a devil?
Remember I said the void took him and he became a Dreadlord's... Into the Dreadlords? He came and reaped his soul back. He's like, this is one of my souls, and took it back as he was rebuilding his power base.
Yeah.
He's like, you ain't getting away from me.
I got too much invested in
Here's the thing. What happened was my religions kept on growing, so I kept getting followers, so I did end up getting to godhood.
He ended up becoming ascending to demigod. This was before the spell plague and how it changed in 5e, where now AO decides who becomes god or who doesn't.
Yep.
So this was before that. He actually ascended to godhood. but with the help of the Dreadlord, and I haven't gone into it with the players yet, but there was some backstory there as how that happened. But it's very interesting. So yeah, I've brought him back as a villain in campaigns. At first, he was working for the Dreadlord, trying to regain his freedom, and then he finally ascended to demigodhood, and the players were actually... We never finished that campaign, but the result was supposed to be them challenging Atlatir as a demigod and defeating him and throwing him down to...
Alright, hold up. To be honest, when you say Dreadlord, I think of a Wraith. What exactly is a Dreadlord?
In this kind of... He's one of the more powerful demon lords. He was one of the... Yeah, I don't remember which one, but it was one of the actual controllers of one of the planes of the levels of hell, because there's 9 levels.
Gotcha. With
Asmodeus being the one at the very bottom.
Big boy.
The big boy who basically set up all the other ones.
Yeah.
So it was one of the... I can't remember. It's been, 40 years since we played this campaign. But he ended up being taken by one of the leaders of those levels of hell.
Oh, okay.
One of the big overlords.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one.
Prince.
Yeah, one of the demon princes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was...
And demon... No, it's devils that are the lawful...
Yeah, it was a devil prince, right?
Prince.
Not a demon prince. I'm sorry.
All right, that's the one thing.
Yes, devils, because the devils are the lawful evil ones.
See, that's the one thing that always gets me mixed up with D&D is that the demons are the little
chaotic.
They're chaotic scampers that go around and are just crazy, mad, wild. And then it's
the devils have the contracts.
Yeah, it's like the devils act more like Satan would. And, kind of sus and,
Well, yeah, because
makers.
Demons are chaotic evil. They're just, they do what they want when they want, however they want to do it.
Yeah, exactly. They have no law.
They enjoy tormenting mortals. That's what they like to do.
And they're against Asmodeus, correct?
Yes. There's various...
a giant war.
Yeah, there's various theories.
Yeah,
the devils and demons are at a constant war. Uh-huh. And there's various theories as to why that is and how it came to be. The common D&D one is that Asmodeus was a fallen angel and that he fell to the 9 layers of hell, or that it was created for him because he used to be an angel that fought demons. Yeah. And as he fought the demons, their skin changed, and they became more devil-like as a resulting from the millennia of fighting demons, and that they were no longer welcomed in heaven, essentially. And so that's one of the theories. The other one is, maybe we'll talk about some other time, but that Asmodeus is actually one of the 2 founders of the world, I guess. One of them's... Yeah, so anyway... I
mean, that might be a better thing for our Halloween...
maybe we'll talk about that again.
Next week.
It's an interesting story.
Yeah. I mean, I personally, it's just the names. Just the names. That's the thing that gets me. As I always saw as demons as more of a deal maker contractor, more of the lawful kind of creature, and then the devils would be the scampers. But that's because I played Magic.
Yeah, well, it's just but
same company.
That's the interesting thing is that it's all under Wizards of the Coast, and yet they have 2 different concepts of demons and devils.
But whatever. I'm sorry. This is the pettiest little bit.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to anime then. So the first anime we're gonna want to talk about this week is Danmachi. So let's get into that one. So
which is a great segue because our D&D session is actually kind of based around the Danmachi setting.
Yeah. And so for those who don't know, essentially the plot is that the gods descended from heaven to live on the mortal realm with what they call their children, humans, and all different kinds of creatures, dwarves, elves, alike, fantasy setting.
Yeah.
And they create families by giving the mortals blessings to be able to go into the dungeon to fight monsters. And that's essentially the same setting we have for our D&D game, because that way, if you want to have a new character, a new person joins the family, and you can just play as that character. It's also because some of the members of our D&D game can't make it every week. We do a weekly session, and so we've had a guy that's only been able to make it a couple of times in the last couple of months. Right. So he drops in, he's like, I can play today, so he'll come in, we can play the dungeon that day, and then if he's not there, he can go back to just hanging out in the guild or doing something else,
Exactly. So each episode is an independent story.
Right, and he doesn't have to be like, so was there something important that happened? We can be like, we can give him a quick recap. Yeah, we went to the dungeon, did X floor or whatever, but it doesn't have to be like, the big bad boss and blah blah blah, an exposition for a half hour about what happened, and try to catch him up. So it just kind of worked for us. Plus, a lot of players wanted to do more of a combat focused game.
Right? Did you keep the same gods?
Relatively.
Yes. Yes and no. I basically mishmashed them. So there's pretty much any god you can think of will be existing here. So
it makes sense because they did have different pantheon.
Right.
Yes.
And so they are. You guys are in the Maliki familia.
Yes.
They're the Maliki. Yeah.
Maliki.
I think she's technically the queen of the forest or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's a D&D goddess.
She's a D&D goddess, but they also run to other ones like Hephaestus, for instance.
Yes.
Because they wanted to go buy weapons. Specifically, this last session,
yeah.
they went buying weapons, and they spent 6 hours. Must have been
6 hours
6 hours?
Out of game, 6 hours.
Out of game, 6 hours.
Yeah, real time. It took them about 6 hours. They
to pick up weapons?
No, not just weapons. So the whole session was. They started out in the dungeon because that's where they'd left off. They were like, okay, well, we need to go back to town. We need to restock up. We need new training and weapons and stuff. So they went back to town, and then I wanted to try out something different. Normally before I was like, I hand them the book. I was like, if you need something, just ask me and we'll figure out price.
Yeah.
But I was like, it's not very role play. I want to get them a little bit more role play. So
playing D&D hard mode with
I'm making them do D&D hard mode. So I give them every month they have to pay a certain amount of money in bills. Right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
So they need money for their house. They need money to eat. They need money for repairing their equipment, for spell components, like all of that. So as they gain more items, they get more powerful. They need to spend more money each month. They got more upkeep. So it's kind of a cost. Do you want to go in the dungeon, or do you want to go train for a month? Because if you go train for a month, you got to pay that fee, and also whatever it costs you to train.
Yeah.
So when they level up, they don't. Normally, when you level up in ED, you get skill points. You get sometimes feats depending on what level it is, and spells and the like. They don't get any of that. If they want to learn spells, it takes them. They have to go learn the spell. They also have to learn the spell level. So, for instance, like when you get to level, I think it's level 3 as a wizard or a sorcerer, you get from first level to second level spells. Normally that's just automatic, and you learn some spells. No, you have to go train to be able. Now that you can use it, you have to go train to use it, and then you also have to learn a spell.
Yeah.
So
and it costs gold.
And it costs gold to do that.
Because you got to get the proper ink, or it's much ink.
The ink, the people to teach you, the material components for spells, like all of that.
People's time is worth money.
Yes, people's time is worth money. Everything else is. And so they also learning feats is the same way. You need to learn. First off, you got to find somebody that'll for some of these particular feats. You have to find specific characters. Like he wants to learn Whirlwind right now because he's got the prerequisites.
It's literally
I think it's the 5th in a. You got to learn what combat expertise, dodge, mobility, spring attack,
and then Whirlwind.
Then you can learn Whirlwind. Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's my kind of D&D campaign. I like that upkeep. I like it makes it feel a little bit more real.
It definitely.
Right, and that's what I wanted to do with it.
And a little bit
and
more
that,
entertaining.
Yeah, and then also that was because of the way the campaign's organized. Since there's no overarching story, the goal is just kind of living your life.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, so what do we want to do? Do we want to go on vacation? Sure, but we're not going to make any money. Do we have enough money to cover it? We got to spend money on it.
He put a little Sims in it.
Right. And actually, funnily enough, a lot of the players in the campaign like the Sims game, so it helps. They already enjoy that kind of experience, so it just helps them do it in D&D. And I thought it was funny. So I thought it was great. So and it's easy on a DMing point of view because I just have to roll up encounters, and so we're gonna go out into the dungeon today, roll up appropriate counters for whatever level they're gonna go on, and then we can just run it from there. I don't really have to set up, dialogue and exposition and triggers for quests because I don't need that.
Right. Yeah.
I do sometimes, like for instance that chest we were talking about was kind of a trigger. They something I allowed them to find if they wanted to in the dungeon. But I've had times where the same party will find something like that, and they're just like, whatever, and they'll move on to something else.
Yeah.
So I've seen it happen with this group a lot over the years. I'll give them a perfect trigger, or they'll have items. Then they'll be like, okay, cool. We'll think about that. The next session, they'll have forgotten about it entirely, and then we just continue on with whatever, because they were like, wait, what? What chest? What?
Well,
What did we find last time?
at one point, we did have our rogue sell an artifact level sword, the Sword of Cass, I believe.
Yes.
An artifact
Sold
level?
it.
No, it wasn't. It's an actual artifact in D&D
yeah,
3.5. The Sword of Kos. She had that item. She sold it.
She never knew
Why?
how.
She didn't even know what it was.
She just sold
How? How did she? Who didn't tell her this?
Something like it started like talking to her or something.
Yes.
And then she just like sold it. She's like, I don't need this, and just got rid of it. And then she
Like, hey, this sir keep talking to me, and I don't need that
So-
negativity in my life.
pretty
it.
much.
This is kind of funny because part of the Sword of Cass is it will try and exert its ego over you and take over you.
Yeah,
But
and-
she was immune to mind effects.
Yeah, she was
She was the perfect owner for it.
yeah, she was playing a like
They-
phase something or other.
they
That
touched
sword got
out.
Which-
exactly what it wanted. That sword was just like, I gotta get rid of this.
It didn't want to have her anymore, but
Yeah, I'm like, I'm done with this girl.
But yeah, it was. She picked the perfect character for that, and I don't never allowing that again. There were so many times in that campaign where it came up that since she's immune to mind effects, it just screwed things up. Like illusions had no effect on her. Like
Wait. An illusion's not necessarily a mind effect, though.
Yeah.
But
all of the if you look in the at least most of the ones I used, if you look in the book, and it
It's a
says mind affecting. She was immune to all of it.
wait, but
She's immune to compulsion. She was immune to illusions. She was immune to
see, this is where the thing where I would like want to deviate.
enchantments of any kind, pretty much.
Because when I think of an illusion, I think that you're actually just like putting an image up, and so it's no different than if you were to like look at a TV screen. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily that you're affecting somebody's mind unless you are. Like,
Well, that's what you're doing,
like,
essentially.
it's like a genjutsu where it's like only like if we're in this room and only Justin sees the dragon in the corner, like you could call that an illusion, or you project an image of a dragon in the corner, we all see it. That's also kind of illusion, or I mean that is an illusion, but it's not mind altering.
Yeah, I think at one point there was like a cottage in the woods or something that was basically a giant illusion, and she did get done by that. I think as I ruled it that way, same as you were doing, like because that was like the whole thing. The cottage is still there; it's a real thing. It just looked different. When they ended up dispelling the illusion later, it was just like a rundown cottage after that, instead of it looking like nice
that's
and.
the thing. Like we were seeing it as different players. We were seeing it as a nice, built-up cottage. She did see it as a rundown cottage, but we were both just talking about, oh, it's a cottage. So we still went in there.
Yeah.
She just knew that it was older, but that was
No. She was affected by it too.
She thought it was new.
Oh.
No. Yeah, she saw the same illusion. And she got mad at me later because she's like, "I'm immune to mind effect." And mind effect. I was like,
But it's not a mind
I rolled. I was like, first off, I forgot about that. But second off, that's just.
Like, if you wanna
What's
go
the
off-
point?
If you want to go off that logic,
Like, I can't have,
you can't see anything because that's really the only way that you like visioning the
Well,
world
it wasn't.
around you
It
is the
wasn't.
mind effect in
It
itself.
was an illusion, but there was an actual cottage. Mm-hmm. Like it was just a rundown shack, but with the illusion, it looked like a
But even
fancy
if-
vacation
Even
home.
if the shack was just an illusion in itself, because everybody can see it, it's like it's an objective thing.
It's a matter of whether it's a projection or an illusion. I think that's the distinction to make. Projection.
I think
is
of illusions as
vision,
projections.
Okay.
But I think that's the better distinction to make. Is a projection everyone's gonna see and is not mind altering. A illusion is mind altering.
Right, and I realized that campaign was centered around a lot of mind altering things.
And just because
And
of,
she was immune to all of them. Well, the thing is, so they found it was about a lot of high level artifacts. They were basically treasure hunters, and they got sent to find these artifacts.
Yeah.
But obviously, artifacts are not easy to come across, and some of them are very evil and like to tell you to do things, right?
Ominous.
Necronomicon being one of them.
Necronomicon. I made up a couple of custom items that they had to find, like some custom artifacts, some homebrew stuff, and
Armor.
yeah, the armor I called the Armor of the Damned. It required a set of 4 high-level magic items that you had to then combine in a specific ritual.
Whoa.
Yeah, and it created this very powerful artifact.
Whoa.
And they ended up giving it to the bad guy. They got tricked into finding it in the first place. They knew what it was, but the guy was a scholar, and he was trying to convince them to help him find it so they could destroy it. Yeah. And then he built it and was like, "No, this is mine now."
And then...
funnily enough, the ritual itself caused the equivalent of a nuclear explosion. And they did it right in the center of town in the Wizard's Tower. It leveled an entire city.
Bro!
Yeah.
It just left undead and raised.
Yeah, and it raised, because it was such an evil item, it actually started raising the dead. The entire place became cursed. There was the center of a magic city, and the entire thing got wiped off the map in an instant.
The thing about D&D is like that stuff would be hella creepy in real life. Like, imagine that really happening.
Oh no, they tried to. They ended up trying to stop him towards the end. They realized what he was doing, and so they tried to make it up the tower to stop him from doing it. But they were too late. I don't remember what happened exactly, but one of you still tried to defend him, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, it was her. The Fey one, the one that was immune to mind effects, actually prevented the rest of the party from stopping him.
Yeah, I went to go and take him out, and she tripped me.
Yep. Stopped him from stopping the guy doing the ritual, and so it went off and leveled the place.
Yeah.
The only thing left standing was that tower because it was unaffected being part of the ritual. But it was basically just a solitary tower in the center of a giant city-sized crater, and at night, more and more undead. Funnily enough, it started to come up in the campaign.
That's great.
Because, yeah, like, you started getting quests. They started living in a different city. And actually what they ended up doing, they ended up leaving for several years. They came back, and the nearby kingdoms were under assault by undead. They were actually on the verge of collapse. Because...
Look what y'all did.
Yeah, actually...
Look at what y'all did.
So this is
Clean this shit
This is part of very good storytelling and very good DM consequences have actions beyond just you. It affects the world.
Right.
And this is why Keith is usually our dungeon master. I will take over from time to time, but usually his are the ones that last till level 20.
Oh, y'all just wait till we start my 5e campaign.
I'm excited. So what is this about? So what's the setting? Are we doing? Can you tell us anything about it?
I ain't gonna tell you.
Oh, come on.
I mean, you guys gonna be on a nice little island.
Okay.
It's going to be on an island.
It's gonna be about the same size as England, you know, everything. And
Welcome to Albion.
Shh, be quiet.
Someone already said that it's based on...
Hey, look, it's Artoria.
Oh, I mean, there's gonna be a little bit of grimdark in there. I mean, no. It
Actually,
might be a human empire that really doesn't like non-human things, and, you know, whatever. Might be a little suspicious towards magic and think you're a little sus, and I might have some things that you might not like in there. But you know,
I made the perfect character for your campaign then.
Oh, did you?
Oh yeah.
What character did you make?
Oh, so I made a half-elf sorcerer with the dragon, you know, the dragon background or whatever it is.
Dragon blood.
The dragon blood one. Well, I chose a blue dragon. And the story the backstory I'd come up with so far was that he's actually like fighting his blue dragon self, and that it's trying to his evil nature is trying to compel him to do evil acts, and he's basically homeless and on the run from his own thoughts.
I like this. Okay.
And so I actually built a perfect character for your. I haven't gotten too far into the backstory, but that was kind of what I was going with. I even flavored it down to the spells that I chose. Like, it was all stuff.
Oh, you flavored it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, down to the spell. Like, because he was playing a sorcerer, I wanted cantrips that would make sense. If you're constantly on the run, worried about dying, you know, I had stuff for, like, the campfire one and the really, some stuff to get away, like the utility stuff. Like, I can't remember now.
Oh, you got some seasoning on it.
There was, I took, like, what's the level 1 spell? It was like illusion or something. There was stuff, mage hand and stuff, so he could like steal stuff without.
And you're a sorcerer.
Yeah. So I thought it would be great that he was like kind of on the run, and he's just doing whatever he can to survive.
I mean, it's possible.
Because I used D&D Beyond, their character creator, and they even had like, I don't know if this is in 5e. I've never played 5e, but they were like, what was your like background wealth level?
Yeah.
I chose wretched. It was like the one wretched. I chose the one that was underneath the homeless one. The one where like you're truly destitute, you have like nothing, you're barely surviving.
Yeah.
I thought that was perfect for this character.
Okay.
Like he's literally just trying not to be evil, but having to resort to stealing and theft and whatever he can just to survive. And he's literally just moving from place to place before people find him.
Okay.
Yeah,
And he has essentially nothing, like because he's a sorcerer, he doesn't rely on weapons or anything. He just has I chose a quarterstaff because it's a walking stick for him traveling, and that's it. That's all he's got.
So I really haven't gotten into my character creator for this yet, mainly because me and my wife are moving to a new house, and it's really kind of drawing up a lot of my time between that and just kind of keeping up on anime and these different subjects for the podcast. But I'm planning on doing that probably sometime this weekend, getting my character ready. I'm thinking of doing some kind of like tank, fighter, barbarian type character of some sort.
You're gonna need it.
Okay. I really don't know much about 40K, so that really doesn't tell me much.
I don't know, he told me he wanted to do 40K, and I was like, can I switch to a cleric?
Yeah.
No.
I want to be, I want to be a cleric.
The cleric might actually have a nice little storyline. Can we say her name?
Let's not.
If Christina
Oh yeah, she heard you.
would just decide which god she's gonna have.
Wow.
Can I just be a cleric of?
You just like blew out our listeners' ears.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Good job.
Hey, did you come up with one yet? What? Speak up. You can talk.
I don't know any. I didn't look at it.
You don't have to. Okay, all right. Pick a god's name right now.
Peeler.
Shut the fuck up.
Core.
Timora is always my favorite.
Okay.
Chimera.
Timora, the goddess
Alright.
of luck.
The goddess of luck. Okay, so
It's one of the D&D.
Some Zinchi stuff. We'll do some Zinchi stuff. All right. Sounds
Whenever
good.
you're a rogue.
Oh, you and the orcs will get along just fine.
Uh-oh.
A genasi and an orc.
Huh? Oh no, not a green skin though. Oh, I will tell you guys this one thing.
Talking about black skin?
Huh?
Talking about black skin Ord?
All right. It's
This
2020,
motherfucker
Justin.
over here,
It's
Jesus.
2020. We don't need this. We don't.
Hey, that's the one thing I
We're
know
talking
from
about
40K.
green skins and gray
Gray?
skin orcs. All right. So the one thing is
Okay.
that I do. Okay. So the one thing I do like about 40K the most is really the orcs, and not the most, but they're my favorite race. Because I mean they're like goblins, but like
Bigger.
meaner and grimmer, and they're horrible people, but they're great people at the same time. See, that's the thing about
The best thing I love about the 40K orcs is, what do they call it? They don't have the warp. They have
the Wa energy.
the Wa energy.
They have Wa fields.
If enough of the orcs believe something, then it actually becomes reality.
And I'm like, this is
It's so fucking cool. Like, they all paint their vehicles red because everybody knows that if you paint it red, it goes faster. And so it actually just goes faster because they all believe that.
Wow.
Like, it's because the
And
Empire did.
Yellow makes things go boom bigger. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly how they would say
Yeah,
it too.
I'm not gonna try an orc impression. I'm not. That is not me. But yeah, I love the 40K orcs.
Oh yeah, beautiful.
So it's kind of like the power rings for like the Lantern Corps type deal.
Not necessarily, because in the Lantern Corps they have individuals that can produce this.
Yeah.
But the orcs require a lot of orcs, and they have to be in a Wa. Or not. They don't have to be in a Wa, but they just have to have enough orcs to make a Wa field.
Yeah, basically, if you have enough orcs together and they all believe the same thing, that thing starts to become reality.
And they need enough orcs, because if there's not, then most of their stuff that they make with good quotations.
Yeah.
It doesn't work anymore.
Yeah. Like, a lot of their guns don't actually work. They only work because they think they'll work.
Right. And that's one thing that, like, really messes up the Mechanicus, because they're just like, wow, these orcs, it's surprising that they're able to do this, and then they go and get their technology and go like, what is this?
This gun doesn't shoot. What the fuck? But I saw that orc using it. I murdered him.
Yo, Jim, I need you to test this out. Oh, is that one of the orc guns? Sweet. And Jim blew up. But yeah, no. So anyway, I'm gonna.
They use guardsmen. Use disposable.
Oh wow.
Expect.
He's a red shirt. Apparently.
Hey, huh?
What?
Oh, shut up.
I was
Stop.
doing red
Don't
shirt.
don't.
Oh,
Don't you
red
bring
shirt.
them in here. Don't you bring them in here. But yeah, no.
Star Trek.
Hey, we're a Star Wars group, not Star Trek. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, seriously, Star Wars is better. 100%.
Hey,
I was joking, but all right.
Throw it in the chat. It's like, I've never seen Star Trek.
I do not judge between Star Wars, Star Trek. They're both pretty good.
Yeah, hey, baby, we're all in the
40K, man. Not even close. What are you talking about?
I don't know 40K though.
He's just a masochist. like 40. I remember
People
the
are
first
gonna hate
time
me.
I listened to a little document, because like my friends were talking about 40K and they were just like, oh, the orcs, they do this, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool, but I kind of want to get into it. And they're like, okay, yeah, you can try. And so I went out and I listened to a 2-hour video. This guy Luten. He did it in like a documentary and everything, and it was really cool. He's got a nice accent and everything, so he's very soothing. He's very smooth with what he does, and he sounds really intelligent. And so I was listening to it, and I was just kind of really sad, because 40K is not a very nice place to be.
No.
And it's like,
It is literally. I already know. Like it is literally probably one of the worst.
yeah, you don't want to be
like.
You don't want to be anywhere in 40K.
Yeah, no.
Like pick a race, pick a position. I'll tell you how bad it is. Like pick one. Like Emperor. Oh yeah, you're just sitting on a throne rotting for 10,000 years.
In a state of perpetual undeath, essentially.
Yeah. Nurgle's laughing at you.
I don't even know who Nurgle is.
Grandfather Nurgle. You don't know about Grandpa?
I don't know 40K. I've never played it. I don't know it.
He doesn't know about.
Is he the Plague Lord of 40K?
Yeah.
Okay, because I know a lot more about Warhammer Fantasy, and I just want to make sure it's the same, because a lot of it does cross over, but it's not all the same.
Right, I'm pretty sure the ruinous powers are the exact same, except Slaanesh, which I don't know if there's Eldar in Fantasy.
There are elves.
Okay,
but,
they're just.
I mean, essentially the
Did
same thing.
Slaanesh consume them? Their empire?
No.
They have an empire? Okay, yeah. So in 40K, Slaanesh was born.
I can't say that for certain.
Oh, okay. Well, in 40K, the way that Slaanesh came in there was that there was an Eldar Empire that was before the human empire. It was super expansive, the basic fantasy stuff. Elves dominated the galaxy. They were the top dogs. They were just carefree. But the thing about 40K elves is that they kind of were pleasure culty. So, I mean, once you've kind of completed society and you have nothing really to do, all you have to do is have fun, and they had lots of fun, and that fun got really fun, and then that fun got not as fun for some people.
Yeah, Slaanesh is basically like excess to the point of, it's basically drug addiction. Yeah, to the point of ruins you like to the point where eventually you can't ever get that same amount of pleasure anymore, and you end up just offing yourself.
Well, yeah, and so
because life isn't worth living anymore.
And it got to a point where they started their culture was being perverted so much, and then when they got separated from the gods, Slaanesh came into existence and just immediately consumed trillions of Eldar, and just demolished the webway and just wreaked havoc on this empire. So it went from trillions of Eldar to just a few billion, maybe, possibly. Okay. And those are the only survivors of the empire that decided that they were leaving. They were like, we're not going to be a part of the Eldar society anymore because you guys are going down the wrong path, and we know where this is leading, and lo and behold, the Eye of Terror popped up, and that's Slanesh. And yeah, so they're all dead except for the Jukari.
Yeah, in Warhammer Fantasy, I know that the elves were pretty powerful before, but it was the same with the dwarves. They had the War of the Beard.
War of the Beard?
The War of the Beard, where the dwarves fought the elves, and it basically led to the ruin of both. Oh. And then chaos invaded, all the gods invaded the world and tried to destroy it, and they just barely repulsed it. And both races have been kind of weak ever since then, essentially.
Yep.
And there's more to it than that. That's just a kind of from what I know, it's just kind of a short overview.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Slanesh resulted from them or if it was already just a god, one of the gods of chaos, and they were just already there and they just still exist.
Okay.
I don't know.
I heard from...
So we've really kind of gotten off topic because we started off with Danmachi, and I just wanted to tie that into the D&D thing. Yeah.
But...
So let's get to Danmachi then. So did you watch the new episode this week?
Unfortunately, I have not.
Okay.
I know that... Are we doing spoilers of the...
Well, since you didn't watch it, let's not do spoilers. Let's talk about the first season, because Alvin just watched the first season.
Okay.
So...
I've already finished the first season, yes.
Yeah.
So what were your thoughts on the first season of Danmachi?
The first season of Danmachi, I mean, I thought it was a pretty good anime. It's nothing too special, personally, for me, but it was very enjoyable. I got through the first season pretty easily. It was nice.
Yeah, it's only like 13 episodes, I think.
Yeah,
it's not very long.
Right now, I'm actually trying to go through the second season, and it's a little bit tough. Mostly because I just haven't had enough time to just sit down and watch it all the way through.
Yeah,
it's
I
just
also
a block this time.
Yeah, I'm just not as much of a fan of the second season as I was the first. The first one felt like just like an adventure, they're having, but the second one just kind of, I don't know. I guess it's more the inner conflict in the city.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm just not since I already watched it, I'm just not as intrigued in the second watch.
Yeah, it seems like... Yeah, the first one was kind of just a story of Bell.
Yeah.
And his little interactions with his goddess, and,
And I think that was a great way to just keep going with it.
Mm-hmm.
But they kind of pulled back from that route.
Yeah.
Right.
And I would have liked a lot more of...
Yeah, the second season definitely tried to be more world building.
Yeah.
They tried to integrate, show you different things, different deities, and that kind of thing.
And right now, I just got to the point where the Apollo Familia declared war on the Hestia Familia,
Okay.
and they're kind of doing their fight right now. And I think I should go back and rewatch season 1, because I didn't go back and rewatch season 1, and maybe if I did, it would get me a little bit more intrigued with some of the characters, because I know that there's some references, but it's just a little faded in my mind. Lilith or Lily and her Familia, which I did meet, and I was just I didn't feel for Lily as much, probably because I just don't remember the first season as much. I love Lily. She's the cutest little thing, but it's also just I've come to kidnap you, and I'm like, why are you doing this?
She's got a pretty tragic backstory.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll be honest, and I think, when you binge anime like that and kind of just run through it versus how I'm doing with the current season, watching it episode by episode, week by week, it gives you a chance to kind of digest each episode.
Right.
And kind of think about it a little bit more. And this podcast kind of helps me do that same thing, too, where I can kind of flush out the thoughts of the new week of anime episodes that came out.
Yeah.
See them in different lights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, well, I just went back and like I said, this week, too, I just rewatched the first season. Okay. And I was surprised. It went a lot faster than I thought it was. Oh. Looking back on it, the second episode, the first episode they introduced the character, and he shows the dungeon they go fighting and whatever. The second episode was right into Monsterphilia, which was the festival. They essentially have like gladiator games with monsters.
Yeah.
I thought that was like the 4th or 5th episode.
Yeah.
That was episode number 2. Like it really just started going and it just took right off. I was like, oh, I thought there was more, like it was slower pace. It just kept going. Yeah, it was.
It's pretty fast.
Yeah, I didn't. Looking back, I thought it was a lot slower because it's been a long time since I've seen the first season.
Realistically, with season 1, they could have made it 24 episodes and just kind of extended it a little bit and filled it out.
Nah, if you can make your beginning look like it's going really fast like that, or like if it's fast and it feels like it's actually fleshed out, that's good. That's a good start. You know, because I remember, that's the one thing I remember about the first season was like I enjoyed this, and I went through it pretty easily. It was a very smooth first season for me.
Yeah, it took right off, and I kind of just wanted to see more fights with just Belle fighting different monsters in the dungeon. I enjoyed that part of the show.
Going further down into the dungeon, because that's kind of where the world seemed like it was going. Like, oh, here's the city, and there's all the familia, and that's kind of all I wanted from that. And then the dungeon itself seemed more interesting because they went to the second city. Right. And like then you met boss monsters and go like, oh shoot, let's keep going a little bit further.
The Goliath.
So yeah, and then maybe other familias would send, you know, people down and you'd have conflicts inside the dungeon. It's just as soon as it became like a problem upstairs, I was just like, alright.
Well, they did actually do that. I don't know if you noticed that. They brought a couple of the side characters down and they talked about that exact same situation.
Huh?
In the first season.
Coming to like cause trouble.
Right. Well, not necessarily cause trouble, but they had the, like you said, when they went down in the dungeon, another family caused trouble for them. It was kind of the conflict thing, and then later on.
But I wanted it to kind of stay down in the dungeon.
Right. I like I said, me too. I really enjoyed. I mean, even when they were up above the dungeon, when you were talking to like the new party members or whatever that Belle was meeting. It was interesting that you were developing the characters, you know?
Right, yeah.
And it made sense that he met them.
Yes.
Right.
Because, so he met the Lily, which is the supporter. Her job is literally just to help him, you know, with carrying items and picking up loot and that kind of thing. Like, as you get stronger, you move faster by having a person to just help you carry stuff and pick stuff up. Yeah. And then you move on to, well, now I need new equipment. Well, then you get the blacksmith, and then he comes in, and he helps you. Like, if we get rare materials, I can make better equipment. Like, so it all makes sense why the party built up the way it did.
Yes.
And I kind of liked that when they would go back to town, it would be like, hey, we do a little side adventure with us in town where we just get to know each other better. It was good character development.
Right, and now in the second season, we have to deal with Apollo, and I think that actually might be the biggest thing, is I don't think I like Apollo's character.
No. I don't like Apollo.
He's literally made to hate.
Yeah.
Literally, it doesn't make any sense. I'm going to go back and rewatch it, but remembering back on it, I don't know why Apollo and his whole family just don't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And so I don't get it. So I'm going to go back and rewatch it. Maybe I missed something or maybe I forgot something.
Well,
but,
I mean, it really just, in the second season, it really just starts off where he has eyes for Belle, obviously because Belle is a rising star, but it's just like, to have that much greed and that much animosity towards somebody that's obviously just like has one family member, it's just like, why are you like this?
Also, to put so much on the line for, Belle's a rising star, but he's still only level 2 at this point.
Right, yeah.
And you're putting a lot of resources into getting this level 2 where there's a whole slew of level 3s and above that are, you know, potentially better to put your investment in.
Right.
Right, yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me why it's happening. And I don't understand why his family thinks the same thing. Like I just started watching the first episode of the second season, and immediately the gang, Belle and the group, go to a dungeon or to the tavern to celebrate a successful dungeon run. They're having a nice dinner, and the Apollo family just starts picking on them. Like, yeah, and I don't get it. Why? What?
Yeah, and that's another.
Like, and I got the one kid that was picking on him. I got because he was like, he's jealous. Him I got. Like, he was like, yeah, you just think you're so cool because you're
hot shit. Yeah.
you think you're hot shit because you successfully did what nobody else could do in a short amount of time. You know what I mean?
Well, no. That it was actually the one guy that beat the crap out of, or was going to beat the crap out of Bell, that made more sense, because he was like, I am Apollo's gem, but now he has eyes for you. So he was jealous.
I got him too, but I also got the kid that was picking on Bell. Him I got because he was like, you think you're better than me because he was projecting essentially. I got him.
He was projecting, but I think that was more of a facade too. It actually came off more that he was doing what Apollo told him to do, and that's why I don't like him as much.
I wonder if maybe it was even just the other guy, the one that beat Bell up. I wonder if it was him goading that guy on.
Yeah,
but we didn't see it. There might have been more like in the light novel that explains it, but it felt kind of forced.
But even so, it's just like so.
But there's the thing too. At this point in the show, Bell had never met Apollo, and Apollo had never technically seen him.
There's the thing, is that Apollo isn't Bell's villain, he's Hestia's villain.
That's very true.
And I don't care as much about Hestia as much as I do Bell. It really
fair enough.
seems
Fair enough.
Bell is being like brought up into the into the affairs of the gods, and the gods to me aren't very interesting because they seem like glorified politicians in this, because they don't really have powers or anything. It's not like when like Orochimaru came in and was like, I'm gonna go test out Sasuke, where he just got down there and they had this awesome fight and everything, and it really tested him out. It's not a very intimate issue. It's kind of like this Apollo guy out of nowhere decides he's going to be like the super duper jerk and take his entire familia and decides to go and beat up on this other familia. And for some reason, all the other familias, except a couple like individuals inside of them, are just like okay with it, because they're like, I'm not gonna get involved with that. I'm like, all right, so I understand that gods are very whimsical, and like if you're a jerk like Apollo, you're gonna do that, but it doesn't make sense why there's not any like one or two other familias that are just like, yo, hey Apollo, you need to step back for like 5 seconds. It's like if you're gonna try and flesh out the world and bring in other characters, like do it fully, and don't just like in a vacuum bring up Apollo and go like, all right, I'm obviously top dog, I'm gonna beat you up, and nobody else is gonna contest against me.
Which brings up another point, which is I'm going to say now, there's some spoilers that I'm going to talk about. So, let's talk about Freya.
Yeah.
Her whole thing in the first season is...
I'm being spoiled.
The first season.
Okay.
You've already seen this.
Okay.
Freya in the first season's got eyes for Belle. The same thing that Apollo does in the second season.
Is she knows why, kind of knows a hint of why.
Actually, I don't think she does. No. Hermes does. Because what's his name tells Hermes about, because that's why Hermes is checking Belle out in the first season. But, which I found out by watching the second to last episode. It's like, he actually says something about it to, what's her name, the Perseus lady, anyway. Freya. So, her whole thing is she's basically the strongest family in Arario.
Right now. Yes.
Right now, right? That's her thing, is her family's the strongest.
Oh, okay.
Right? They say that somewhere towards the end of season 2. She's basically the strongest.
Yeah. Otaro
and
is
she's got
the strongest.
She's got eyes on Belle. She's basically, and she even goes so far in the first season to say, she warns
Apollo?
Hermes essentially.
Yeah.
She's basically threatening Hermes that don't be messing with Belle because only I can mess with Belle.
Yeah.
And so immediately, Apollo then starts picking on Belle in the second season, and she's just not even going to mention anything or not going to do anything or like...
You would think that she would, under, the scene, behind the scenes, be like, yeah, Apollo, you're going to not do that.
Right.
Well, yeah, and
like...
So, because she's doing that, it kind of really sets it up for like, oh, so Apollo's not even like a villain that we have to worry about, because Freya is...
If Freya's not worried about it, then she
you don't have to be worried about
she
it.
assumes that Belle is just going to make it through it without her help.
Right.
Or if Belle doesn't...
She's going to swoop in and do something.
Right, but because we know that writers would never do that, we just assume...
Maybe. I just thought it was weird that it never got mentioned that she did anything at all. Sorry about that.
You would think that either she would, just in passing to Apollo be like, yeah, this whole little thing you got going on here, it's going to stop or it's going to get worse.
Right, especially since Apollo basically comes at Belle and Hestia in the middle of a giant gathering of deities.
Yeah.
And Freya doesn't say a word.
Doesn't even flinch. No, just nothing.
And I'm like, so...
Yeah, at that point, it's just like, why aren't the Familias always at war?
Which is, because it's funny, because they talk about that, because when you go to war, they'll get into that. I don't want to spoil it for you. Anyway,
No, spoil it for me.
basically, when two deities' families go to war, only one gets to survive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Basically, whoever wins takes all of the stuff from the other one, and then the other one has to spend. The god has to leave. They're not allowed to live in Aurario anymore.
Yeah, but why wouldn't all of the stronger gods just attack all the weaker?
They did. They used to. That's how Freya became the top dog. Zeus and Hera used to be the top dogs, but they got ousted because they fought. I don't want to ruin it for you. This is I don't want to get into. Yeah, this is real sports. I don't want to talk about that. But anyway, Freya. How come she doesn't help Belle? Which is, I thought was funny, because in the first season, she helps him out a lot. Like, it looks like she's a bad person, but she's challenging Belle to see if he'll rise to the occasion.
How does she help out Belle in the first season?
So in the first season, who do you think it was that left a grimoire there to let him learn magic?
Okay.
Because it's
noted.
And Freya's connection to Seer, who gave Belle the grimoire.
Oh, okay. So she's not directly helping him. She's giving him opportunity.
She's doing it for her own entertainment. She wants to see him rise to the occasion.
Yeah.
So she did that. That's one of the things she did. The other thing was the Minotaur that he fights was trained by her lieutenant, Otarl, the strongest adventurer in Aurario, went and found that Minotaur and trained him to fight Belle. That was the whole point. Because Belle was afraid of Minotaurs. She wanted to see him overcome that fear and grow as an adventurer. That's what she wants.
Okay, so then that makes sense why she's kind of letting Apollo go after him. Because Apollo doesn't want to kill Belle. Apollo wants to acquire Belle, and at any point, even if Apollo did acquire Belle, Freya could just go up and go like, Apollo, give me Belle.
Maybe, because she wants Belle too, but.
Yeah, if she just declared war on the Apollo Familia for Belle, the Apollo Familia would have.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Otarl could just do the fight by himself.
Yes.
He could probably beat the entire Apollo Familia single-handedly.
Y'all hype.
Dude, that dude is a badass.
Okay, all right. Now I'm intrigued to go just see Otarl. But yeah, no. Okay, but see, it's just okay. So what is the guild playing here?
The guild. Oh, the guild itself. So the guild is the spoilers again.
Yes.
The guild is the underlings of what's his name?
Shoot, I just had his name.
It starts with an O. Oranos.
Yeah.
He is the only deity allowed to live in the mortal world and still use his godly powers. He's basically the arbiter.
Yeah, he has no real familia. He just monitors other gods, and if the other gods use their powers, he's the one who sends them back to heaven.
Okay, right.
So
he's the
ref.
Yeah, he's the referee essentially of the world.
We're playing a game.
So the guild is basically his underlings to do things to that effect. To do to watch the other guilds, to help adventurers, like all kinds of manner of things.
There's nothing stopping a guild like Freya's guild to just take out all the other guilds one at a time.
Right. I think it had something to do with Orano. I think after Zeus and Hera got... I don't remember. It was in the second season. I think they say something about it.
Yeah.
That there's a reason why it was frowned upon. The guild,
But then Apollo goes to war with Hestia, and it's like, whatever.
Yeah, I think it's because the guild will blacklist you.
Yes.
And so they'll blacklist the whole family, and you can't earn money as adventurers if you can't go into the dungeon, essentially. They won't take the stones. They won't give you money.
Because you'll just go to war. Oh, because you go to war.
Yeah, if you, I think that's what it was.
Well, why would Apollo ever do that?
Like I said, I'm not precisely sure.
Is he just an idiot?
Yeah, basically the dude's fucking insane. Like, towards the end of the arc, like, he just fucking batshit crazy.
Sloppy villain.
Literally, he's just
Very,
insane.
Very sloppy villain.
That's his whole thing. He's like, I'm insane. That's it.
Crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, what? Okay, that's cool character villain arc. Like, I'm just in crazy, and all I want is to collect things that are beautiful, and you're one of those things.
See, you can't just make a god foolish.
That's literally it. That's his. That's entire. Apollo is entirely. I like pretty things. You're a pretty thing. I want you to be in my
It
collection.
doesn't even seem like Apollo of the Greek god.
No, it doesn't. And if you look at it, yeah,
Like, to be ambitious.
you've already kind of been spoiled for who wins because there's a season 3. So
Obviously, Belle's not dead. I can tell you that much.
Belle's not dead and Hestia is still there. So
Yeah, we know exactly what's going on.
so
Also, what happens to the god if they lose the war? Does the god have to be kicked back up to heaven?
doesn't have to.
No, I think they
just can't be an Aurario anymore.
Yeah, I think they talk about Ares, and he
Yes.
got banned from Aurario because he did something. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
He kept wanting to
God of
fight.
War.
Yeah, he kept wanting to fight or some shit. So they like kicked him out. They were like, no.
Hey, fight!
But-
Let's go! Hey, Zeus! Hey,
Yeah.
Apollo! Hey.
And
Pretty
the
much.
funny thing is, despite him wanting to fight so much, he's actually pretty weak.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Well, because he can't use any of his powers, obviously.
Yes.
So he can't really fight.
Wait, can gods not train though and become like
They can't go in the dungeon and use only special occasions can they be temporarily allowed to go into the dungeon, and so gods don't really train.
Yeah.
They
So
can't train outside though?
yeah,
No.
yeah. I don't think they're. I think it's got something to do with the fact that they have immortal bodies. So I'm assuming, I don't know this. This is my assumption, is that they can't train up because all they're really doing is just unleashing their own power, and then it just gets them sent back to heaven.
Yeah.
Like you already have incredibly powerful strength and stamina. Like
It's not.
You've
it's not
sealed
like
that
an
away.
Moral body. It's just a.
Right.
It's just a limiter, basically.
you basically put a limit on yourself, saying I can only do X stuff because otherwise I get sent back. So that's my thought on it. I don't know if that's true or not. I'd have to read the light novels and whatnot, but
Putting on the sweatshirt but never taking it off.
sure.
Sure.
So they can't really use their power. So Ares is obviously like a pushover in combat because he fights an adventurer who's, if he fights an adventurer who's powerful, like they're magically enhanced essentially.
All the guys are like Ares.
Like,
Ares, Ares. You don't even have adventures anymore. No. I don't need a familia. I'm just gonna fight you.
Well, he does have a familia. He's got massive familia, but they're all just basically just random humans that grabbed weapons. They're like an actual army.
Yes.
But then you fight an adventurer who's like, I got magic and I can fucking demolish walls with a punch. They're like, yeah, this doesn't work out so well for you, does it?
Even a level 2 adventurer like Bell can wreck half of his freaking army.
Oof.
Yeah.
Like,
Poor
it's
Ares.
sad.
Bro, why did?
Ares got done dirty.
This is why.
Ares got done real dirty.
I don't like it when animes like take big names like the Greek pantheon and makes them silly like that, though.
Yeah, it's
It's like, why would you make Apollo like this? Like, why would you take a name like that? Like, just make your own pantheon at that point.
Yeah, well, realistically, it kind of is because Hephaestus in this is a woman, whereas
like they did
Loki's
their own
also a woman.
Loki's also a woman.
Actually, Loki's probably one of my favorite deities from the show.
Yeah, fair point.
She's actually got some character, whereas most of the other ones don't. Hestia's literally like, I got big boobs, and I love you, Belle.
Hey.
Literally her character. You gonna
Yes.
fight me on that?
Yes, big boobs with a boob ribbon.
Right.
Tiny. She's just this tiny little thing.
Yeah. And then they don't really talk about many of the other gods at all. Freya's like, all we see about her is that she likes Belle and like seems to
And
want to
she's
challenge him.
Epically powerful.
And she's epically powerful. That's all we know. And everybody loves her because she's the goddess of beauty. So all the men fawn over her. That's like the second or third episode of the first season.
And it's kind of funny that like all the men fawn over her and everyone's trying to like be with her, and she walks up to Belle in this like huge gala, and everyone's like, "What?" And then Hestia like quickly like rips Bell away and is like,
Oh, but
no, this ain't happening.
But that makes sense though.
That one makes really sense. I actually really thought that. Like, of course, Hestia would do that. First off.
Hestia is crazy.
No, I'm talking about Freya. Like,
Oh no, I know. I'm saying like
makes sense, right?
it makes that entire encounter made perfect sense to me. Saying
yeah.
Freya would she likes Belle. She's gonna go talk to Belle.
yeah.
It's one of the few.
Also, she can make Hestia a little upset.
And of course,
Why not?
and you know,
Why not?
and then Hestia obviously would throw Belle away, be like, "You're not taking my man,
Right?
you man stealing whore."
I tell you what though, the guy.
That's essentially what she said too.
Hestia is creepy though. She is a creepy.
She's a very clingy.
That's her child, and she wants to make some demigods.
Yeah, but that's the whole Greek pantheon in general. Like
You
the
right,
Greek
you
mythology
right.
is like
Well-
a lot of this.
Well, we know that
Neptune a player.
spoilers for anyone who hasn't watched the show, but Bel is the grandson of Zeus. He's one of the. He's the literally the opening of the show is showing that he's basically the equivalent of Hercules.
Yeah.
Hercules.
Alright, but hey, do they have Poseidon in that? Or Poseidon?
We haven't seen him yet, from what I've seen, so he hasn't come up yet.
You know, hey, you know what would be hilarious though?
What?
They had like the Greek pantheon, and then they brought in the Roman.
Well,
It's the same fucking band.
well, for example, like Ganesha from Indian mythology, it controls a lot of the like tournaments and stuff and the security around Narario. So that's what you mean. We mean when we're talking about different pantheons. It's got everything from like Indian culture to Greek and Roman and other things.
No, I was just saying bring in the Roman pantheon because it's literally copy paste.
Yeah, they're the exact same deities.
Jupiter
Just
is Zeus, Neptune is Poseidon.
Oh, fair.
almost. There's slight differences.
But then you also have
don't
like,
you dare.
But it's also kind of cool because like
I
two
have
of
the ocean and the rivers too.
Oh no, not what I'm talking about.
two of Hestia's best friends are Eastern Japanese gods.
Takamikazuchi.
Yeah.
Takamikazuchi and yeah.
Mhm. Oh yeah, no, I get that. It's just like I would just like Zeus has been kicked out, but Jupiter's here, baby.
Yeah, they actually tell you why Zeus got kicked out.
This is
It's a plot point.
Big plot point that we're not going to spoil for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's a really good reason why they lost their war. So.
Yeah, and it just makes sense.
Come on. No.
Do you really want to know?
No.
It's not a big deal, but it does make sense. Honestly, when we watch the show, when he comes to it, they're like, oh, well, that kind of makes sense.
Yep.
So yeah.
So we've talked Danmachi kind of to death.
Yeah, I don't want to reveal too much, but I'm enjoying the show. It's a nice, lighthearted kind of show.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
I do like the third season and going back into the dungeon. So
Yeah, actually, I wasn't the biggest fan at the beginning of the third season.
Nobody ever is with the third season.
They start out in the dungeon and then they go back to town and they go back to the dungeon, and they go back to, which is fine. But they're actually.
Second season. Ain't y'all supposed to be in the dungeon? Don't y'all have
No, I mean, like, in the same episode, they're just like, quickly, we ran down to the dungeon. It was like a scene, and then they're like, now we're back in town. Like, I was like, okay, I want to see more. You know what I mean? Like,
I want to see more you fighting monsters.
Like, they did that in the offshoot one, the Ice. What's it called? Like, I can't remember the name of the title of it. It's like Wallenstein.
Yeah.
Is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon? I can't remember the name of the show, but it's basically a spin-off one where they go during the first season. You know that the Loki family go on that big expedition or whatever. It's one of the plot points. They actually just show you her, and that you see all the things happening in the first season from her perspective. So she meets Belle, saves them from the Minotaur at the very opening of the first show. Then, she sees Belle when he's attacking the orcs on floor 10. Then he sees Belle again and blah, blah, blah. Helps him train. All that stuff. You see it from her point of view, her thoughts. Then you actually see the entire expedition, all the floors they go to. Like, they go further down and they...
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool, actually.
It's really cool because, like...
It shows more of the dungeon that you wanted to see.
You have Otaro, who is bar none, strongest adventurer, in the Freya Familia.
Hey.
And then you have Eyes, who isn't like a low tier adventurer, but isn't like the highest of the high either.
Hey, he might be strong, but is he as strong as Ryushigin Yamamoto?
I have no idea. I don't know who that is.
Huh?
Really?
Come on, Justin.
You're gonna pull
Come
one
on,
of the most
Justin.
powerful characters in Bleach.
That explains it. Bleach. I haven't seen it. I was like, who the hell are you talking about?
He's talking about the leader of the 13 Court Guard Squads,
Yeah.
which doesn't even use his powers until in the manga at the end.
No. He fought.
Aizen.
No.
Wonder Weiss.
No. Oh, that was a dope fight too. But no, he fought his two captains, his subordinates,
Oh,
Ukitake and Jushiro.
yeah.
Jushiro.
One that's sick to the point of nearly death.
Hey.
And
He's
All right.
so talented.
So, we talked about Danmachi. Do you want to talk about the next one now?
yeah,
Wait. What's a better anime, Dragon Ball Z or Naruto?
Dragon Ball Z.
I'm going to go Dragon Ball Z only because I haven't seen the entirety of
Dragon Ball
Naruto.
Z, bar none.
We can move
I
on.
don't know if we say bar none, but
Yeah. I've watched both.
We've made enough fans angry.
okay. So, do you want to talk about Tonikawa next?
Yes.
Did you watch the new
Yes, I
episode?
did.
So, this one is a romance one. We tell you about last week.
Yes.
Finger?
The finger?
Oh, no. This is...
The one where they get married first episode.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you watch it?
No.
Oh man, you're missing out. It's actually
Yes.
probably one of my favorites from the
It's
season.
getting real interesting.
I didn't watch the newest episode.
Oh,
How
it's
many
getting
episodes are
real
there?
I think it's the third or fourth one now.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's the fourth one now. It's getting real interesting.
It's getting spicy.
Real,
I
real mysterious.
love me a romance, but they basically were like, obviously the setup to this is like he meets this girl, she's like at the beginning.
Nothing about her.
No, nothing about it. Like they the first fucking 5 minutes of the first episode, he basically proposes to her, right? And then she disappears. They meet up several years later, and she's like, "Here's the marriage license.
Let's go.
Let's go get married."
Yeah.
Because you promised 3 years ago or whatever. And you're like, "What?"
And he's
He's just like, "Yes, let's
Yes,
go right now."
I mean, that's how I would do it now.
And he spent basically those 2 or 3 years like looking for her to try to
Yes.
find her. He literally like love at first sight was the whole thing.
But he didn't even like look. The way you guys describe it is like he wasn't even like really looking for her. He was hoping that
He didn't know her name. What do you do?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's pretty.
Like he doesn't know where she lives. He doesn't know who she is at all.
Tinder or something. Japan has Tinder, right? You think Japan has Tinder?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I don't know what time period this is set in. If it's set in like today or not. But anyway,
Yeah, it is today. Actually, they know in the newest episode they kind of noted some dates and actual
So
things.
though, I'm just enjoying it, like because it makes you're kind of confused because he even asked a question like, "Why do you like me?" You know, like and she needed all the kind of stuff. They had to go shopping to buy her a bunch of stuff
Yeah.
because she didn't have it, and I'm like. So I said something to Justin. I was like, so obviously there's something in the backstory. Either she ran away from home or the home's gone for some reason, or she was some kind of orphan and ran away. Like something happened in her past. Like
It's interesting, and I don't think any of those fit anymore.
No?
And I still don't know what it actually is, but it doesn't really match any of those.
With the last episode, the end of season 3 that I saw, or the end of the episode 3, this is a spoiler. You see someone pull up in a limo and watch her and call her sister.
Yes.
My thought is
snap.
she's some kind of rich girl and she either doesn't like how her dad's treating her, like influencing her life, or like and so
Ooh, this getting spicy.
but this is more spoilers. At the beginning of the first episode, she stops a car. And it doesn't get brought up.
Not a car, a truck.
A truck, like a fucking semi-truck, to save his life, and that's why he proposed essentially.
And all she got was
I'm
a little
thinking,
bit of blood coming
yeah,
down.
I'm thinking
She
she's
had
some kind of
internal
like
injuries.
clone experiment or something. Like she's some kind of superhuman, because like it never got brought up. Like that she just said he's like it hit the guy got out of the car. He's like it hit you. You're the one that should be on the fucking ground. The driver of the truck's like you're the one who should be in trouble. You saved his life, and then like that doesn't get brought up again.
Oh!
I think she's some kind of like superhuman soldier experiment clone thing or
I
something?
don't even know about that. I've seen the fourth episode, and it reveals some things, but it also conceals the actual truth. I am.
I don't know, but they left that mystery from the first couple of minutes. I'm like, there's gonna be something.
Oh my gosh.
There's gonna be something big.
All right.
And-
no, definitely
okay,
watching this
so-
one.
It's fucking fantastic. I recommend
So
it.
I will tell you one line. It won't give anything away, but I will give you one line from that character that you mentioned, the girl in the thing. I'll give you one line from the new episode. She said, "Do you not know who she is?" And all he says in response is, "She's my wife. I love her." And she like goes ballistic that he doesn't know who she is.
That's it. Shoot.
Rich guy had to saved his daughter by some crazy like science thing, and she became superhuman.
No, they were made for each other. That's probably why she was just like, no, unless you marry me. You remember how you were talking about how she was like blowing him off and being a little sarcastic? They already knew that they were going to do this.
That's an interesting.
Maybe.
I
They had
don't
to go back
see
to the
it.
lab for 2 years. So
But she got hit by a fucking truck too, so.
yeah. So she might have had some injuries, so they might have to do some reassessing.
I don't know,
Because that's wet technology right there, buddy. That's wet technology. It ain't no quick fix. You can't just go under the hood there and fix it like a car. No. That's a biological ingenuity, a wonder of the world. And she had to go back to the lab for 2 years. Came back, crazy ass was like, hey, here's the papers.
I'm not sure if your assessment is correct.
Why?
I don't know. Either way, they got some kind of mystery going on with her about her
Yes.
background, and I think it's going to be interesting. It's already interesting enough to me, and I love it. Eat that shit up.
Oh, dude, I'm so ready for this now. Dang.
Yeah, solid, man.
You got
So
me now.
go to the next one. Have you watched The Journey of Elena yet?
No. You
Okay.
told me to
Have you
watch
seen
it.
this one? This new seasonal one? I was kind of hesitant about it at first because it's a slice of life anime,
Yeah.
but it's
What's the slice of life?
the one where there's no overarching story. It's like kind of
Oh, yeah.
Day in a life of. this person.
kind of they just live in their life kind of thing. So the whole thing is she's a witch and she wants to go on an adventure. The first episode it basically establishes her backstory, like growing up, becoming a witch, yada yada. Then she goes on adventures. Essentially, each episode is kind of its own self-enclosed story.
Yeah.
And they're, so far from what I've seen, they're each based on like a fairy tale.
Okay.
Each story is like she just kind of watches or interacts with a fairy tale like story, right? It's she mentions it a couple of times, like at the beginning of a couple of the episodes. She's like, I remember there being this story, and she gives a little bit of it, and then you just kind of watch the whole story unfold.
Yeah.
And some of it's her interacting with it, some of it's, but it's definitely interesting to watch. I haven't been disappointed. It's flashy. It's got because she's a witch, it's got some flashy like magic spells and stuff that they do. But it's just kind of interesting. It's pretty average. I'd say I give it like a 6, maybe a 7. It's all right. It's
Something to add to my watch list.
yeah, it's interesting to watch. I
might put that on my watch list, but I know what I'm watching for.
yeah, Tonikawa is amazing.
But I mean, I do have to finish up season 2 of Danmachi and then get caught up within the season 3.
Yeah, we're only on episode 4.
About Otaro, bro, because I've seen
He really doesn't come up in the anime.
he looked like Chad.
Yeah, you only see him like 2 or 3 times in the anime. He's not a main character. He doesn't even come up.
When they were at when like Hestia and Apollo were doing their like little thing, Freya was just like, "Hey Otaro, do you think it'd be possible to put a Minotaur in here without seeing?" and that's when I was just like, "Wait, what? Hold up."
Wait till the Red Light District arc.
Yeah, we'll get.
I was just like, that seems sus. Dude, Freya seems sus right now. It's hard.
So-
Just like,
Yeah, she just likes to watch Bella go on adventures. That's her like. For what we understand is it's her entertainment. It's what she likes to do. So as far as they reveal, so we talked about Tonikawa, Journey of Elena. I'm Standing on a Million Lives is the next one.
Okay,
The list.
we'll go with Say on a Million Lives. It's getting pretty interesting. Did you watch the?
I did just watch that one earlier today. Yes.
Okay. So are we gonna talk about this episode or?
Let's just talk about the show. So I don't know. I'm not really honestly feeling it. It's
No?
just not. I don't know. It just seems kind of scattered.
Yeah, I can give you it's a little scattered. This last episode was not overly impressive.
It's honestly, it's the one that's made the most sense so far.
Yeah.
Like, and all it is honestly the whole thing was just to set up like we're gonna go on a journey now. Now I think the story's actually gonna start.
Oh,
Is how I feel about it. Like after seeing this most recent episode, I'm like, now the story's starting. We can go somewhere. Like we're gonna have a story.
But it's episode 4.
But it's episode 4 to get there. I'm like, and I get it. You're introducing the characters, but for the most part, I really haven't learned anything about the characters.
Yeah, and so far the characters that have been introduced, like, I don't really like the new mage girl that he like saved from the bathroom girls.
Here's the thing. All the characters have in common is that they've all been bullied in their life.
Yes.
That's the connecting thread between all of the characters. The first girl you meet
Common thing.
is like, yeah, she used to pick on people when she was a kid, like when they were really like kid. Then she met someone who got bullied and she killed herself, so she's like, I'm not gonna end up like that. She tried to become the popular kid. But she was getting bullied.
Yeah.
Then the second character was the shy girl who gets bullied a lot. The third character is another girl who's basically like a cam star
Yeah.
that got bullied by her other cam star friends.
And then you have the main character
Who is like, I just hate this place because I used to live like in the mountains, or because Japan.
Yeah.
I used to live in the mountains and now I'm here and alone and I hate this place.
Yeah.
I'm like, and so like all these characters are like dull, honestly.
A little bit.
Like the overall thing is the main character is like, I don't need any of you people. You're all fucking useless, and I can do it myself.
Well, and that's the other.
And then he
thing.
does, and I'm like, what the fuck's the point of the rest of the characters?
Yeah, the main character is literally, and it's funny because he literally in this episode, this new episode, states when one of the girls gets captured by bandits, and the other girls are like, "We're gonna go save her," and he's like, "That's stupid. Let's go and get what we need to done. As long as one of us survives and completes the mission, we can go home."
Yeah, basically, here's it's not really spoilers, but here's the premise of the show. The people get teleported to an alternate reality, essentially. Kind of stuck in a video game thing, SEO. And they get given a quest. They got to complete it in a certain amount of days. And now this is the longest when they give them like 40 days or some shit. So he's like, if you complete the quest, you guys get to go home. And then at some point in the future, he's going to summon you again and add a party member. And you have to do another quest that's probably harder. From the general theme of the show, it's every time they complete a quest, they get a break period. And then they get another party member and they have a harder quest to do, essentially.
Yes.
The next time they go back.
Gotcha.
So in the first one, it was like that the main character isn't actually the first person to make it here. He was actually the third one.
Yes.
So the first character was the wizard lady we were talking about earlier, the one that was bullied when she was a kid. And she had to like, her quest was easy. She's like, you have to defeat a goblin and you have to like explore. No, that was it. It was just kill a goblin. Then the second quest was explore like some percentage of the map or some shit, like 5% of the map.
Which was not hard.
Which they just walked around until they got it done. Then the third one was you have to kill a troll, which was apparently a strong monster. Yeah, way harder. Like,
I hate it when they do that.
And so the main character, because the other two ended up getting eaten, the main character literally is just like, all right, I'm gonna go power level,
Right. He's basically like, I'm gonna go power level, and then he defeated the monster.
Yeah.
Like. Oh. And so then like, okay, well you defeated the quest, and then now the fourth one they got another party member, and they're like, no, I don't remember what the quest was. They said episode 3.
You have to get to the other side of the map of the continent.
Right, but I don't remember if there was something you had to do or if you had to just go there.
You just need to go there.
Anyway, it was like, okay. So.
But the other thing is the new party member. I just hate her. I literally hate her.
Right, because the whole thing is he met her. The main character met her because
he saved her from being bullied.
Right, which and then it's classic, girl in a fucking Japanese anime is where like, oh, you're such a perv, because because they're trying to videotape her. They're bullying her by like stripping her naked down and gonna put videos of her naked on the internet.
They had her pinned down in the bathroom, and they
And
were
so-
gonna videotape her getting stripped naked.
Yeah,
He comes in.
he's
and
like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And grabs their phones and smashes them all up so that they can't, obviously.
Can't load anything.
And then she basically is like, "You're just such a perv," and then like, "Why won't you leave me alone?" And like, he's like, "Just
He's
tried
like,
to
"I
help
saved
you.
and then
Go fuck yourself."
walked you home, and now you hate me.
Yeah.
Like
He didn't understand. Like, the main character, it made sense to me. I was like, I get why you don't understand, because she's weird. They didn't really explain much about her
I
yet,
have
but
to just say one thing.
yeah.
Lazy writing.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of this one.
fair.
I'm hoping it'll take off now that they've like set up, like now that they've gotten together, they're like, we're gonna make a journey across this continent. I literally hope
yeah.
that it's just a journey of them, like the rest of the 7 or 8 episodes is just them traveling across this country, and at the end is fucking 13 to where they arrive, and they just had like an adventure on the way. Like, that'd be a fine show to me. But I get the feeling they're gonna finish this fucking quest like next episode, and then they're gonna have another fucking quest. It's gonna be dumb.
Well,
they're gonna have another character that
and
nobody
they-
gives a fuck about.
Yeah, and they showed the end scene.
Yeah, every time you complete a quest, you get to ask the GM of the game a question. And what we know is they're from the future, and they made this game for some reason, and they bring these specific characters for some reason, and they were selected for some reason. And then he's like, so what happens when we beat the fucking game? And he shows like a dragon invasion of Tokyo, and he's like, you're there. They're all there, and they're the characters with their fucking armor and shit, and they're assumingly gonna fight the dragon.
Yeah.
I'm like, so okay,
Fast forward, please.
yeah.
Right?
Apparently there was an apocalyptic scenario, and the whole thing is to change the past or some shit.
Yeah.
That's what I can glean from what they've told us.
Sounds like time traveling shit.
Yeah, I was like, either make it about time travel or don't. Like, don't give me this
Yeah.
half-ass bullshit.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
Steins Gate, fucking love Steins Gate. Give me that time travel shit, I fucking love it.
They're like, God,
Or give me the fucking SAO game, I'll do that too. But don't do both, because
Yeah.
you're doing it terrible. It's shit.
Those are two hard topics to get right, and if you try and do both, you either need to be so on point with both that it's an amazing anime and it takes a long time to develop, or it's just gonna be garbage.
Yeah, this one, honestly, if I had to rate it right now, I'd give it a 4.
oh,
Like, this anime is not great.
dude,
Yeah.
Like, it's got...
I'm getting 2 vibes from it.
I don't like to go too extreme with my rating. Like, the best I give fucking Brotherhood a 9.
Yeah.
So like,
Get out.
yeah, I've only ever rated Steins Gate's the only anime I'll rate it a 10.
Ooh.
You gotta beat Steins Gate.
Well, there's Dragon Ball.
You can only ever have one anime that's a 10 at a time.
Like no,
That's how I see it. Like,
Dragon Ball Z is like that's 10.
I give Dragon Ball Z like an 8.
You know what is it?
I think Brotherhood's better than Z.
What?
I think Brotherhood's better than Z.
Keith, you know what is a 10 out of 10? Reviewers. Interspecies reviewers. 10 out of
I'd give it like a 6.
10. I just have to,
I enjoyed it.
I have to keep it up with the meme. Okay.
I actually did enjoy the show though.
Yeah.
Um,
I liked it too.
it was kind of a change of pace. It obviously is very it's basically a hentai, essentially.
Oh, okay.
Might as well be.
Ooh, speaking of hentai, you guys know my favorite anime? Big Mouth.
I don't know what that
I
is.
don't know.
Wait, you guys don't know what Big Mouth?
What's that?
Wait, was that Christina?
Might have been. Maybe somebody's here.
Oh, okay.
Sarah might have come over.
But
You guys seriously don't know what Big Mouth is?
No, what?
Oh, go look it up.
Okay, we'll look it up later.
well, yeah.
Considering you said now that you were talking about hentai, I was like, it's probably not a show we want to discuss.
Right.
The other one that we want to talk about is Kuma 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 Bear.
Yes.
So
Check it out.
you're checking out?
No. Check it out.
No, it is great.
I actually really enjoy this one. This one is.
I put it at a 7. I put it at a
You
7.
got up. I thought you were like, nope, I'm done with this. I can't handle it no
I
more.
hate these names. I hate
I think Kuma literally means bear,
Yeah,
right?
it's just bear.
Yeah, like, yeah.
No, it's Kuma bear. It's 3 Kumas
What
and
time
a
is
bear.
this?
No, it's definitely interesting. That's for sure.
It is hilarious.
It's
It is
You have to
cute.
remind me.
It is-
it's definitely a comedy.
yeah,
So the main character is in a bear suit, and that's the shtick. She's in a like game again, essentially. I don't know if she's a game, but she's in a
yeah.
I remember
She-
you guys telling me about this one. Yeah.
yeah.
I-
She's in an alternate reality or
new
game or
episode-
something.
This new episode with the goblins. Oh,
I love it. So it's literally she does everything in the shapes of bears.
Yo.
She makes magic. Yeah, oh yeah. Because her thing is, like, the suit that she wears...
It's bear magic.
It's bear magic. It enhances anything that's a bear. So she can make walls of dirt in bear shape. Or make fireballs in bear shape.
Or make a sinkhole with a bear.
In a bear shape. I fucking love it, dude.
But,
I was laughing the whole fucking time. This show is hilarious.
So...
Like, you gotta obviously just, like, it's an overpowered isekai show.
Yeah.
But it's a comedy. The whole thing is it's like, she doesn't give a fuck.
For example, she went to hunt goblins, realized there was a bunch of goblins in a cave. Her idea is, I'm going to shoot some fire in it, and then close it up with...
Wait, hold up. Was the fire bear shaped?
Yes.
She fills the cave with fire, then closes it up with a bear-shaped wall, and
So
lets
the
all the
fire-
goblins suffocate to death.
Yep. And then makes a little house and goes to sleep.
Yeah,
in
she
it.
takes a nap while she waits for them all to die.
And then has her little friend go and pick up all of the...
Oh, and actually, no, that was right. You're right. Because she defeats the boss or whatever,
Yeah.
and then she goes take a nap while her friend goes and collects all the loot.
Yes. And it was funny because, like, her friend is just like, support mage, and she's like, well, I can harvest them. You're going to help, right? She's like, no. She's like, you're seriously not going to help harvest them? Nope.
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 Why
Nope.
not?
Because she did all of the work.
No, it ain't
to kill
because
him.
I don't think she.
But
I don't
she
think
also
she
was
just.
like, I don't like blood, and what you have to do is you have to cut out this, like, gem out of their bodies to harvest
He's
them.
like, nah.
And she's like, no.
Yeah, it's like, remember, you watched Danmachi, like, you know how when he kills a monster, they evaporate and becomes a stone?
Yeah.
This is the same thing, except they don't evaporate. You just gotta cut the stone out.
Yes.
But it's gross.
Yeah, so,
And so she's like, I'm not doing that.
yeah, because I ain't touching this. And then, so she's like, I'm gonna go take a nap
That
now.
don't work.
Yeah.
Right.
How you gonna have me kill all
So-
these monsters and then have me
So
harvest
it's funny
afterwards?
because
We ain't splitting that afterwards.
So it's funny because there's.
Didn't even wanna
there's
be there,
over-
but it-
There's over 100 goblins that she killed,
Right.
and so she has to. She basically has the support mage go and like cut out a stone from each one of them. She gets back and is dragging these like stones in these bags, and then all of a sudden there's a little like house outside the cave.
She's just taking a nap.
And she's taking a nap, and then she knocks on the window to wake her up. She looks up, and then she like flips her.
She's like, no, I'm going back to bed, fuck you.
And then she's like, no! And then
Come out here.
fine.
Same though. Nah,
And
that would be me. I'd be like, nah, I'm napping right now.
The show is just a comedy with the main character being outrageous because she's in a bear costume doing like dumb shit with
Well,
bear-shaped
he's
stuff.
strong.
Yeah, she's just an overpowered character who just... It's all a comedy.
I ain't gonna lie.
I wouldn't call it a parody of like the Isekai. It's like an Isekai, it's just a comedy Isekai.
And then she has an actual like friend who does all of her like skinning of the monsters.
Yeah, she beats monsters and brings it back. He's like, here, can you deal with this for me? I don't want to cut them open.
But so she realizes that the guild harvesting center is always packed and always busy, and with her volume of stuff coming in, it just makes it worse. So her solution is, I'm just gonna make this giant 3-bear house with
Oh yeah, they're literally
center.
it's a like it might as well be a 2-story house, and there's like 3 giant teddy bear shaped compartments. Yeah,
Just do whatever she wants.
pretty much. Yeah, she's
Yes.
overpowered as fuck. She's literally like, she's worse than I would call what's his name? Kirito. Kirito. Yeah, she's more overpowered than Kirito was in SAO. She's like, do whatever she wants. So at least Kirito, he didn't have magic or nothing. Like, he had to fight with the swords and stuff. He was overpowered, but like, she's on a whole nother level. She's just like, I can do whatever I want if
She's
it's...
like, bear punch, and it just decimates them. Bear fire decimates them. Bear sinkhole decimates them. Bear claw decimates them.
Right, and the funny part was the first episode was so this is gonna be spoilers. The first episode was like her in the future. It looks like because she's fighting these like lot stronger monsters. And she actually has a fight.
Yeah.
I was like, oh okay, because like she starts out, it's like her, and then it like flashes forward. It's weird, and then she fights the strong monster, and then the second episode is like her going back to the past, like to present time, and then showing you kind of how she got to that point.
Dang.
Mm.
I'm not gonna lie though.
It's honestly, I think you'd like it. It's
It is just fun.
it's just fun and funny. That's
I'm still stuck on the Kumu.
yeah. It's I wouldn't call it a great show, but I found it really funny.
Bear.
I'm definitely probably gonna watch it.
Yeah, it's probably the second. It's probably my second or third favorite show of the season.
Yep.
Second?
Yeah, or behind Tonakawa. It's
Yep.
probably my second favorite, and then Danmachi's probably like third. It's okay. Elena's pretty good. I haven't been watching too many of the shows. I kind of stopped watching some of them.
Oh, that's fair. You can't watch everything, right?
Yeah,
I am watching
I guess I forgot. Like, there's the slime one. That one's all right. That one's just a general isekai romp,
Yeah,
though.
that's
So
just-
it's just kind of generic.
Born of the God. I like the latest episode where like he gets to talk to them and he gets his little like chart and
Yeah,
everything.
this one's the epitome of like being an overpowered character. Like he gets to be like reborn.
Because he goes to the guild to take the test, and the guild master of the entire guild gives him a test of like archery, and then he like throws a knife at him to see if, as an archer, he's paying attention. He not only dodges it, throws the knife back at him, and then makes a magical staff that's about to like skewer the guild master. And this kid's like 5.
No, he's not 5.
What is he, 8?
He's like probably like 10ish, 10 or 11,
Okay.
12ish.
He's a little kid.
Basically, what happened was he was essentially he was like a lot of these stories go. He was a salary worker in Japan, right?
He was an adult.
He was like 40 something, but he was like a big dude. He's like a big buff kind of dude,
Yeah.
and then he just died one day.
And the gods were like, "You had such a crappy life. We're gonna give you
a new
much better
life, and we want you to be happy, right?" Is what they told him. So they give him a new life. They basically reincarnate him in the body of like an 8-year-old, and he spends 3 years just living in the woods, like interacting with stuff.
And-
Like he finds a slime and makes it his pet, and then he like breeds slimes.
and makes new kinds of slimes.
Yeah, we find out later.
That even the god who created the slimes.
Was like, I didn't even know that was possible. He's like, I forgot that they could do that.
Yeah.
It's been so long.
Oh my god. That's wild.
So yeah, it's just kind of a generic show. So he's in the woods. He's like doing something. In the first episode, he's doing something. He's like, I need to go. I don't know what he was doing.
Picking like random.
Yeah, he was out
herbs.
picking herbs or something, and then he runs across these bandits attacking these knights.
And
So-
he just ends like.
Or no, they attacked no, they already defeated the bandits. And then the guy was like on the ground like bleeding or whatever, and so he comes over and heals him. And then like he takes him back to the cave, like feeds him dinner, and they're like, "Well, it was nice meeting you." And they leave. And then they come back with like the Duke or whatever, because it was like the Duke's son and his bodyguards that he'd helped. And so he comes back and they meet him. They convince him to leave the cave. He's been staying in by himself for 3 years.
Because they realize how actually special he is.
Yeah, how overpowered as fuck he is. Because and then the whole point of that episode was literally like, we thought he was overpowered, but we keep underestimating him every time he fucking does something. Literally every time.
Yeah, it's funny because the Duke's daughter, who's about his age, and is kind of like the love interest in this.
Wait, hold up. Love interest.
Yes.
He's 8.
No, he's like 11
He's
or
like
12 now.
11.
Like I said,
Oh, that makes sense.
like I said, he was in the woods for like 3
But-
year plus years or
But
something.
she's the same age as him. They're on the same like age level.
Yeah, his love interest. I mean, like,
all I know is my babies ain't touching no man until they're at least married and 25 with a 401k to LLC.
yeah, I don't know about love interest. All I know, it looks like they're gonna be friends though, at least.
But
Because
My-
she
my
seems to
point
like
is-
hanging out with him, and he doesn't have any friends, obviously.
my point is
He lived in the
that
woods by
when
himself
he was
for 3 years.
he did the whole archery thing. She's like, "Wow, are all archers that quick?" And her dad, the Duke, is like, "No."
No, it was actually the butler.
Or was it the butler?
The butler was like, "No, that's just his extraordinary skill."
And she's like, "So he's really, strong?" And they're like, "Yes."
Yeah, it's we'll see where it's going. It's just kind of a generic show though. It's probably like a 6. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's probably like 6, maybe a 5.
I actually like this.
What did she say?
You're like,
Oh, that 401k. She hear you. So, the only other one that you put on the list, Alvin, was King of the Hill. So you want to talk about King of the Hill?
Oh, jeez.
I just want to be able to talk like Boom.
You just want to be able to talk like Boomhauer?
This is not.
Don't we all?
This is not
That would be
anime.
awesome.
This is not anime.
Whoa.
I just am sick of King of the Hill. I grew up watching it, and it's just boring.
It's hard to go back and watch it, though. I will admit.
I bet.
Like, going back and watching the animation, God, I'm struggling to get through it again.
That is definitely a struggle. But as soon as you decide to like give up on the fact that you'll never see an aesthetically pleasing scene, it's like
No, I've watched-
it's kind of enjoyable. Honestly, I've never seen the humor before and everything. Well, somebody came up to me and goes like, "Hey, this is dry humor. And it's actually really funny and it's pretty clever." And I'm just like, "Well, I mean, Family Guy was
Now-
funny." And then
now
Rick
I
and Morty-
wish-
Hey, all right, I'm talking right now. Rick and Morty was kind of funny. And
I enjoyed Rick and Morty.
Futurama was kind of funny. Maybe this cartoon will be funny. And it turns out it's kind of
Yeah, it's all right. I don't mind it.
It's definitely from the 90s.
Oh, yeah, oh, man, I'm struggling to get past the art style. God damn.
Oh,
No,
Like, I remember I used to watch it when I was
even some
younger,
of the-
but...
even some of the jokes. But I forgot that they're from Texas, and I was just like, all right, they're from Texas. Great. They get extra
Yeah.
points immediately.
So, yeah, King of the Hill, it's hard for me to get back into watching it. I've made it, like, episode 6 or whatever in the first season. I used to watch it when I was younger, like... you see it on TV or whatever. Like,
they're just.
I like King of the Hill, but definitely after going back, especially these last few years watching anime, like the animation's gotten a lot more. I don't know, high def and smoother. And going back and watching the King of the Hill from the '90s, like, oh god.
No.
I can-
Seriously, after I was okay, so like the only thing that I would watch on Adult Swim like consistently was Family Guy because it was I don't know, brighter, more funny show. Like it hooked me, and so I was just like, all right, I'll watch this. But before that, like I wouldn't watch any of the other cartoons because honestly, I would look at them and I go like, this is gonna rot my brain. And then I found out that like the humor is actually intelligent, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool.
So
Yeah, I don't mind
So,
King of the Hill.
like, before I would go like watch Family Guy, and then like King of the Hill would come on, and I'm just like, that looks dumb, and I just never gave it a chance. But now I'm going back at it, and I'm just like, all right, cool. I want to talk like Boomhauer. And right now, I think I just entered into like season 2 or such, and now I'm a student of Boomhauer. All I know is that he just kind of says random things that are
That
also
most of the other
on
characters
topic.
can't hear and they just ignore. They're like, yep.
I mean, hey, down at home.
So-
yeah, we're never wrong.
So if we're talking about American animation, there's 2 shows that I would lord as the 2 pinnacles of American animation.
Avatar: The Last Airbender.
That's
Fuck
one.
yeah.
And then
Avatar's
Ruby.
amazing.
Huh?
And then Ruby.
Ruby?
Ruby's dope.
Is it good?
Ruby.
It is
I don't know.
very
I've
good.
Oh, dude.
So
I took one look at it and I was like, nope.
yep, the first season
good.
is a little rough with the art style. After that, it gets so much better.
It honestly reminded me of Berserk and I was like, nah.
So
Nah.
Alvin's the one who got
Oh god.
who got
with
me
the
into it.
animation? No, but no, that it's one of those animations that it's like you look at it and it's not aesthetically pleasing.
It was really
immediately,
bad the first season.
but you then kind of get it in your head that it's just completely different than the animation that you're used to, and so
And it
you
gets so
can
much
catch into it.
smoother later
You
on.
can get into it, and oh yes, it does get nuts with it. And those characters are
Yes.
precious. Oh my gosh, Pyrrha,
Don't talk about Pyrrha.
my girl.
Don't talk about Pyrrha.
Okay, fine.
Pyrrha and Sean should have been together forever and don't even.
Oh yeah, dude. You know the thing about that whole group,
What?
Team Juniper. You know the little
Yeah.
trope with them. All of their characters are just the opposite sex of
Yeah.
all the characters. So yeah, Jean is Jean of Arc, and what's the Asian dude? What's his name? Shoot. Well, Nora is Thor,
Yeah.
and Pyrrha is Achilles,
Yep.
and then the Asian dude is Mulan. But
Yeah.
I can't remember. But yeah, no, dude, all of those characters are freaking precious, and I love them to death. And I think that it was best up to season 3. I actually haven't been current with Ruby,
I am.
to be honest. I haven't watched it in the last couple of years, but I don't know. It was just like it was really hype because I was able to watch all season 3 and
My only concern is I think they wrote themselves into a corner.
Yeah, I heard that somebody died during the process of like season 3, and so some of the qualities of like the action scenes started to degrade a little bit, and some of the writing became a little less planned out than what it was.
Yeah, the biggest issue right now is the big bad, as far as anyone can tell, is literally unkillable, immortal.
Oh, I mean, that's never a problem.
And
you'll always find a way.
And the most intelligent character in the show that's basically supposed to be able to tell them the solution to everything literally says there is no solution.
Oh, that's never a problem.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's also funny how
they'll figure out some way. Maybe people like it, maybe they won't.
Rooster
But
Teeth was just like, this isn't an anime, everybody, and then all of Japan was just like, you're an anime now. I was like, okay, all right,
Yep.
I guess they are. Same with Avatar too.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure all of Japan's like, hey, you're an anime now, and they're like, okay.
love Avatar.
Avatar is, yes, the pinnacle. I can't stand Korra.
Oh my gosh, get over it, baby! Legend of Korra is gold.
I would have much rather seen the comic books of Aang and Zuko and the gang animated than see Korra.
I would have loved it if that was a mini-series and it was just like a little add-on, but it wouldn't have been able to be a series like Legend of Korra. However, I will say this, I did not like the last ending of the season of Legend of Korra because the CGI got in there and I was just like, no. You don't take something that has been animated so beautiful. Like, we loved Avatar at least 20% because of the animation.
Yeah.
20% is a good solid bit.
I loved it. It was good world building.
Very good.
The characters were good. Actually, Avatar itself was just great overall. No, they did quite a bit of world building. That's kind of the whole point of the entire journey was to kind of flesh out the world. And the first.
The comic books did a lot more world building.
What do you mean?
Which was why I kind of wanted to see that animated. Was how did Republic City become Republic City? How, what happened after the war to bring the nations together? Like, there was a lot of things in the comics, like where is Zuko's mother, that they show off in the comics, but most people who are just casual fans are not going to read or look for the comics.
Well, those casual fans don't have to see it.
No, you don't need to know any of that to watch Legend of Korra.
But those are some big questions that were left unanswered.
And if you want to get the answer to those questions, you can find them. That's not the problem.
And it's not really that big of an issue, honestly. I mean, honestly...
You don't need to know.
You can connect the dots. It's like, at the end, like, during Avatar The Last Airbender, you saw that the Fire Nation was progressing, and then you put that in the Earth Kingdom, and you go like, oh, it makes sense that the world would be dramatically shifted by a 100-year-long war where the Fire Nation had colonized and actually held territory in the Earth Kingdom for, like...
Right. Actually, no. It doesn't have any problem at all. Like they come out and say Aang and the gang founded Republic City because it used to be a colony, and it was so they made it a center for all of the nations.
And the South Pole became a metropolis.
I never said it was a problem. I just said that I feel like it would have been more interesting than the Korra story. That, in my opinion.
Like, okay, but I don't think it needs to be an either or. Like, they could have done that as well. Like,
yes.
Like, I don't think it's like, you're saying you would rather have had that story anyway. Okay, but you have that story. It's not animated, I guess, but...
Then after they put such a commitment on a short series, and they kind of probably will feel pressure to add on, and then it can become sloppy where, it, like, they put in more than what they should, and then...
Well, and I'm still a little... upset about the whole Rava thing at the end.
I don't remember. Like, me and Christina went back and watched season 1 and season 2 recently, and
how Rava ends up getting beaten up and they lose the connection to all the past avatars.
Oh, that was at the end of season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were just.
I was not happy with
Christina
that.
wasn't happy with that either.
I'm sure they reconnected though.
They did, but they lost all the previous avatars and all their knowledge and everything, which I thought it was kind of symbolic.
Including Aang, which was upsetting.
Actually, yeah, I get you guys feel like.
I'll be honest, Aang's the least one I'm worried about. I wanted more Kyoshi.
Yeah.
Kyoshi gave no fuck. She was like, "Fuck you."
It's like, I come back just to say, no, you really are guilty. I really did kill shit.
Yeah.
Like,
The man was stubborn, and I killed him.
I would never have done that. Yeah, you know I killed him.
The other thing I want to say is...
Oh no! And then she did it again. She did it twice when he went onto the lion turtle, and he was just like, "How do I deal with Ozai?"
Kill him.
He's like, "You didn't really kill Chen." And go like, "I really don't see a difference. I shot that motherfucker in the face."
Yeah. She's like, "I would have
Right, like,
if he hadn't fallen," you know. No, I thought Legend of Korra was. I didn't like it as much as Avatar. But mostly because I'm not as big of a fan of the characters.
Yeah.
Like,
I just couldn't get...
Korra's a bit hard to deal with, especially at the beginning. She gets better later, but she always just seemed kind of whiny and complaining the whole time. And I get it. She was sheltered her whole life. She wants to explore.
But, comparatively to Aang's struggles, it's just like, meh.
No, okay.
And I get it. It's a different character. It's fine.
Yeah, different
But-
character.
But I also am not a big fan of Mako and Bolin.
No.
Bolin's supposed to be Sokka, but he's just stupid.
Yeah.
No. Bolin is not Sokka. He is funny like Sokka, but he is not like Sokka.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
The sciencey dude, what was his name? That one was supposed to be more like Sokka.
Asami?
No, not Asami. The weird, like, what do they call it? The mover guy. He was a film dude.
Yeah, what's his name? Starts with a V, I don't remember. Anyway, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
But yeah, none of the...
I actually really enjoyed him, as a character. He's probably...
One of the problems when it comes to Legend of Korra is that, Bolin might, like, seem like he has Sokka humor, but I mean, it's just... Nothing in Legend of Korra is copy-paste.
No. You're right. And his whole defining thing was, I'm stupid.
Yeah.
And, like, he just seems like a one-dimensional character. He's like, I like my brother, and also I'm stupid. And that's about it.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty much Bolin.
I mean...
I did love the subplot between him and the princess from the northern tribe. I loved that. Fucking loved it.
Yeah, no, that was really good.
But for the most part, Bolin's just kind of a joke character that he's just, like...
He's not necessarily stupid, though. He's kind of just quirky. Like, a stupid character...
Yeah, I mean, he basically... they just treat him like he's kind of dumb, essentially. Mako, on the other hand, is like just kind of conniving and's like... My whole thing is I like to womanize, essentially. I go back and forth between Korra and Asami.
Well, see, that's the thing.
So here's what I would have preferred if we were going to go to, like, the next Avatar. I would have preferred Aang and Katara to not just have airbenders, but to have waterbenders, too.
They did.
And
They did.
which one was it?
His sister.
The sister?
Yeah, the sister.
But I wish she had been the Avatar instead.
Yeah, you would want Aang's
No,
daughter
they
to
don't.
be
That doesn't seem to be how it works.
I know
wouldn't be possible.
I know that's not necessarily how it works.
He would have to reincarnate before he dies.
Yeah, fair.
Okay.
Well, first off, that.
Also,
But second off-
she was a bomb girl. I liked her when she actually went ham. I mean,
Yeah, I can't remember what her name is. Yeah, you got Tenzin. You got
Boomy.
Boomy. I loved Boomy.
Yeah.
Boomy's a great character. And then you got what her name? She didn't really show up all that much.
No.
You're right. She only showed up a few
Why
times.
I'm just like kind
I
of.
thought it was sort of the K, like Kira or something like that.
Look at my text. I told you all the answers.
Oh, did you? What?
Why don't you just come in and tell us?
Varric was the mover.
Barrick. Yes.
Kaya is.
Kaya.
the
Yep. Started with a K. So.
And Mako is a whore.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, Mako's whole defining trait is like he keeps jumping back and forth between the Avatar and Asami.
True, but see, that's the one thing is the character complexity, I actually really appreciated a lot of it in the first season because I knew what the author was trying to do. He was trying to show us how wild it was for how old was she? 14, 16?
16, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
A 16-year-old girl to and a 16-year-old boy to be in the big city, be an Avatar, have to deal with Tenzin, have to deal with Amon, and there was a lot of chaos that was going on.
No, and I think you're right. And as I said, she's a little bit hard to stomach at the beginning because of that reason, but she gets better over the series. But the other characters don't. No. Mako starts out as a decent character, and then he's just there. And then Bolin was start out, and he's kind of like, hey, I'm a friendly, nice guy, and then I'm dumb.
Yeah.
And Varric he started out, and his whole thing was while he was in the show, because he didn't show up till like the end of towards the middle of the second season.
I mean, Bolin had a lot of stuff with like the ladies and everything too.
Right, yeah.
He had to deal with Pearl, and he did become like one of the second in command, or like the inner circle of what's-her-face's army. What's it?
Kira's or whatever. I know the villain from the fourth season.
Yeah.
I don't remember. We haven't watched it. It's been so many years since I got that far.
Yeah,
I'm just talking about from 1 to 2. I just watched it like 6 months ago.
I will say the only really good thing that I liked about Korra was Uncle Iroh in the spirit world. That was amazing.
Yeah, a lot of people like the cameo. Christina did too. Yeah, we both enjoyed that.
I enjoyed the cameo. I feel like we saw a little bit too much Iroh actually.
Yeah, I agree.
I saw him for the third time. I was like, all right, we get it. Iroh's in the spirit world. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
and I just see more Toph.
Honestly, yeah.
That's true.
Old Toph was.
I also want to see.
Digging.
I wanted to see a lot more Sokka. I want to see Sokka.
No, seeing Sokka would have been dope.
Yeah, I loved seeing Sokka in those flashbacks.
Yeah.
Oh, and also Zuko. Zuko was good.
Zuko actually showed up in the show, but
actually, that was a pretty big thing. There's a lot of people got upset that like Katara didn't really do anything, but Zuko didn't do too much himself.
Well, it makes sense. He's the Fire Lord. He's got his own country to run,
He did kind of just go like, I gotta go because these guys are about to be released. Leaves Fire Kingdom. And then Katara never really does anything, and I'm like, but I'm okay with it because they're the old,
right?
And we're trying to go to the new.
So
and that's always a problem with the last.
My other issue with Korra is the whole point of she really should be the bridge between the spirit world and the mortal world, and I understand that like she's bad at that. But Aang was bad at earthbending, and he figured it out. She's still kind of figured it out, but she's not anywhere near as good as Jinora.
No. They answered that perfectly when they say, I'm fundamentally changing the relationship between the people and the spirit world.
Right.
And legitimately brought the whole thing together.
That's why I also think
she had to deal with those. She had to deal with that. She was like, I'm going to just open up the spirit world and bring it to the mortal world, and now we have to deal with that.
Right. Actually, really thought that when she did that, I thought it was good that she lost the connection to the previous avatars.
Yeah.
Because I think their point of view is skewed. Because they only had to deal with things in the moral world like it was from when, I can't remember the first avatar's name. What was his name? When he set it to be the spirit world and the mortal world, he changed it. You know what I mean? He decided to create a 10,000 year era of the avatar. Mm-hmm. It's not the era of the avatar anymore. The avatar is just a player in the world now. Like, she's just there to help bring, you could say, balance. Realistically, she's there to just to ease the tensions between two different peoples.
Well, and she's really just doing what they think that they should have been doing. There's no overarching authority that says the Avatar is supposed to be this.
No. That's the whole point of the show was to say that she's just a person.
And see, that's where I feel like a lot of people get tripped up with the whole Rava and the Vatu thing, because like, oh great, now the moral vagary is gone because now they're just trying to say, oh, Rava's good and Vatu's bad. No, I mean, there's a lot of moral gray ground, I guess you want to say.
Yeah.
Gray area.
Gray area that's still there. It's like, just because one is light and one is dark doesn't mean that you're not still making decisions.
Have dark without the light and vice versa.
Well, no. It's not even about the yin and the yang. It's just about I'm making decisions. I'm just going through life and I have to deal with the consequences. Like the spiritual world. Like, having to deal with people taking over entire continents and kind of stuff. You know, there's just decisions that have to be made. Like, there is no overarching mission for Korra in this one like Aang had. Aang's path was clear. It's like, I gotta go and I gotta deal with the Fire Lord and then deal with whatever. Korra was just like, I just have to be the Avatar. What the heck does that mean?
Right.
There's this Amon character who's over here like, hey, maybe Benders shouldn't treat non-Benders like secondhand citizens. And obviously he was the bad guy because, you know...
But he was a sympathetic
balance.
bad guy in some ways.
He was definitely a sympathetic bad guy, but he lacked balance, just like, what's the other spiritual dude that released Vatu? You know, he was all about the spiritual world. He was just like, the spirits are great, the spirits are awesome, we should be all with the spirits. But... he went a little bit too far and going like, hey, I don't like how this Avatar is over here not doing their job correctly, or they're just being a little bit too, you know, selfish. I mean, because before Aang, like, Avatars haven't really had a good track record. Like, Kyoshi was off with just the Kyoshi Isles. She kind of messed up with Chin the Conqueror. She lived 250 years.
And she pissed off the, what was Old Iron, the spirit Old Iron.
Yeah, something like that.
She ticked him off and then made a compromise of, you know, you have to, like, worship this, or Yang Chen. No, did Yang Chen came before?
I don't know, but I mean that's
another one is Wan Shitong's library.
Yeah.
That's a perfect example. When Korra was it Jinora shows up there and says, I'm with the Avatar, he's like, that doesn't mean anything here. The Avatar is not really my friend. Like,
no. Yeah. It's like,
I don't trust the Avatar. Like, because the Avatar.
You think when Aang went there and
they lied to him.
They lied to him. They stole knowledge to go against his enemy, which is exactly what he said. Don't do this.
Actually, but that was really Sokka's fault because he even lied to Aang at first because.
Fair point, but Aang realized after a minute what was going on, and he didn't.
Was really stuck. He was in a hard point. But I mean, even before that, so you had Kyoshi Roku, who failed to deal with his best friend, which was a Fire Lord who actually threw the world into chaos in the first place, and then the Waterbender guy who just didn't do anything. It's not like the Avatars have been really good at their jobs in the first place.
Yeah.
They obviously haven't succeeded in their missions, and they had 10,000 years to do it. So there's nothing to say that the Avatars really were good. So to say that Korra is damn good Avatar in my book.
Yeah, and then the whole thing too, it's now a new era. It's a new cycle.
Yeah.
Like when she lost her other avatars, I thought it was good symbolic because now this is a new age. It's not the age of the Avatar anymore. This is different. Right, it was like closing a chapter and starting something new.
It wasn't about just taking away the vagary of like what's good and what's bad. It was just like that's light, that's dark. That doesn't matter. It's like you said, it's the new era. This is the new beginning of what the world is going to be like.
Right.
I'm no longer just the bridge. I'm just another person. And
we ended that 10,000 year span of where the Avatar was, you know, the Avatar essentially.
Yes.
What are we now?
Yeah.
And I think that's what they try to start with season 3. And we've only made a couple episodes in, so I can't remember what happens in season 3 and season 4.
Yeah.
But I think it was that was a good way to do things. It was like, we're going to do something new now. And I think it's the same way they felt about the show entirely. It's because a lot of people wanted Avatar, you know, the next season. And it was, no, we're closing that down. We're going to do something new.
It's like, guys, we can't do a book 4 or 5 because there's no more elements. Like, he already knows airbending. Sorry.
So, another thing that I wanted to bring up, if we're talking about Avatar, is Aang's whole issue with killing the Fire Lord, when obviously in a lot of scenes he killed people. There were a lot of scenes.
What? Did Aang kill people?
No.
Yeah, remember the freaking avalanche when they were fighting the Fire Nation soldiers, you think that none of them fell to their deaths?
Are you talking about Northern Air Temple
Yeah.
battle?
And,
Maybe.
And
But they showed a lot of it too. Is when he actually did cause those little avalanches. Their heads were sticking out and they were just covered in snow.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
yeah, but
the tanks fell, but then they saw them just climbing back up the mountain.
But there were
so
people that did explode.
He did try to kind of silence them, you know?
Yeah,
But,
I'm just saying,
Not from a lack
like,
of
with
trying.
all of the big things that he, especially, like, Northern Water Tribe, he became this big, aqua creature.
hey,
And
that
realistically,
was what
he probably
came
did,
after. Okay, alright.
He probably
There's
did-
a difference between the 11-year-old Aang who was a
Right.
bender versus him when he takes his collective avatar state. And
Yes.
also
Fair
the
point.
spirit of the ocean that just lost its twin brother, or its love, the moon, is pissed.
yeah, I
That
wouldn't
was
call
the
that
whole
Aang.
Spirit world going like, fudge you.
Yeah.
But, so fair point.
And to another fair point
But
is
there-
when the Battle of the Northern Air Temple ended, it was actually Sokka that killed the people because he threw down the thing that it caused the explosion that ended it, and which would have killed all of the people. They were using mostly non-lethal. I know they had fire bombs or whatever, which were just like flash bombs essentially.
But my point
Sokka's a
is
stud.
that there were a lot of, like, large-scale battles that Aang was a part of that there's a good chance that he killed or in some capacity ended many people.
I mean, there's been times when Aang's freaking lost.
But he also says too. He also talks about it. He doesn't take. He only does it to protect himself. He doesn't take someone's life. They're attacking him. He's defending himself.
Right.
But the Fire Lord was doing the same thing. He was attacking him.
But come on. Aang or the Fire.
Well, no. His whole thing is because he's gonna go find the Fire Lord to fight him.
Yeah.
It's not like
He was looking for it.
yeah, he was looking to go fight him. Like it's different. You know what I mean? Like he didn't look to go fight these other people. They attacked him. Right?
yeah.
It's so I get where he's coming from. Like because this was the first time he'd have to go kill someone with the intent to go kill somebody. If he accidentally killed somebody in self-defense, I think he could live with it. But it's the mentality of him having to go try to kill somebody.
The other
he had to struggle with.
thing I want to bring up is, we all know after looking at Gyatso's body in there, Gyatso didn't give a crap about killing people. He took out tons of Fire Nation soldiers.
Hey, check this out. We all know that Monk Gyatso was probably one of the last airbenders. He probably just got done watching a bunch of the Fire Nation murder all of those air nomads.
Yeah, and
he had lost all their training. They're like, I'm gonna take the air out your lungs.
right, and also remember self-defense. What I was just talking about. He didn't seek them out. They attacked the temple, and he tried to defend himself the best he could.
Yeah, and he was in a corner.
Right? Yeah.
Literal corner.
You could literally say he could have literally been hiding from them, and they finally found him to kill him, and so then he defended himself.
And in all of his Monk Gyatso ways.
Yeah. So I don't think there's any.
A baller too. We all
Yeah.
we all know that
Well,
Monk Gyatso's
so-
up there with Boom.
So
and
here's
Iroh.
my question, though. Like, he did ask Avatar Yang Chen, who was an airbender, and she still said, this is more important than our, spiritual well-being.
Right. Because the Avatar can't ultimately reach enlightenment.
Yes.
That's the whole point. Because you are supposed to be at that time was supposed
You're
to be.
tied to the
Yeah, you're
mortal
tied to
realm.
the moral world. You can't become detached from the world and seek enlightenment like that.
Yeah, that is true.
You are a part of the world. That's your kind of.
That's
Well,
your
she says,
duty.
yeah, your duty and your purpose as the Avatar.
And speaking of that, when it comes to just like air nomads being like air nomads, I thought it was also really dope when they brought in how Korra wasn't necessarily like any. It wasn't like Aang, where Aang didn't know about earthbending because he had an airbender's mind, and so he wouldn't be able to earthbend. Where Korra was more of the earthbender here, where she couldn't learn airbending very well because she wasn't very detached and she wasn't a very spiritual person, and I kind of enjoyed that aspect. It's like
And it made sense.
You're not necessarily.
It's not
born
necessarily
into your
the
tribe.
it's
Like-
not necessarily the opposite element. It's just the element that your personality doesn't mess with.
Well, yeah, no, because like in Last Airbender, it was Aang was very much an Airbender. Katara and Sokka were very much Water tribe. Toph was very much Earthbender, and
Zuko was everything
fire.
about the fire.
Exactly, but in this one, it was like Korra was definitely more of an Earthbender or whatever. Mako was
I'd almost call her a firebender. She's very almost aggressive.
Well, yeah, no, she was actually quite a bit of them.
Yeah. So that's why those elements clicked with her, because they were very physical elements, and that's why when Air didn't, because she was very spiritual.
Right.
But also, I liked it showing that like Mako and Bolin, because they came from the same family, but they're both firebenders and earthbenders.
And
so
family thing is a Water tribe thing.
the family thing's a water tribe thing. What?
Yeah, it's they're very connected through.
Oh, okay.
Family is
And family ties is a very Water tribe thing.
Yeah.
That's why it was like Sokka and Katara. They were very
Yeah.
to their family. Everything was family. This my mother or my father or my brother and my sister. It was, it was the loving connections that they had, which is a Water thing because water is polar, so it's very connected.
I don't know if that's specifically or the fact that that's like
It's just symbolism.
just being people. Maybe I don't know.
Well, no.
Because they do the same thing with Bolin and Mako when they go to meet their family in Ba Sing Se.
I mean,
But it's not necessarily a water tribe thing. It's just
would be Iroh and Zuko would be their family connection because in Legend of Korra they were obviously trying to just break that idea that Earth Nation people were born and acted like earthbending people. Like.
I mean, but they didn't really, though. I mean, really, in Korra, they kind of still did the same thing. The firebenders had their own gang. But you know what I mean? Like, it was all...
It was still divided to some extent.
No, I'm talking about the main characters, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, because, like I said, Aang was like the manifestation of an airbender.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well,
Each character... Yeah. Well, that was kind of their purpose, though.
Exactly.
Was because he needed a waterbending teacher. Katara is the water, and then, yeah.
Which one was it that did the lava bending?
I don't know. He came up in...
Bolin? Yeah.
Bolin ends up... Oh, does Bolin become a lava bender? I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Well, he becomes a metal bender.
Yeah.
Well, he becomes a metal bender.
No, he doesn't become a metal.
Oh, he doesn't figure it out?
No.
He tried to.
There's metal benders and then there's lava benders. And that's the thing. Like,
Yeah.
Bolin actually had a pretty hard time because he, like, couldn't learn metal bending. And he was really sad about it. But
Yeah, because we're right now in season 3, we're in it where they just get to Metal City or whatever it's called, and Bolin's like, well, I don't know about you, it's only 100 Earthbearers, and he's trying to metal bend, and then that's where we left off. So I couldn't remember. I assumed he figured out how to do it a little bit or something.
Mm-hmm. Who's the one dude that reaches enlightenment?
Which one?
Is Amasu? No,
It's the bad guy from the 3rd season, right? The Airbender guy.
Yeah.
What's his name?
I don't remember.
But yeah, no, he was also a really cool villain.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, yeah, like, yeah, just the way the stories were structured. Like, each season in Legend of Korra was just, the only thing that connected them was the consequences of the last one, but it wasn't really a continuous story.
Yeah.
There was no real overarching thing. It was just the next thing happens, and then you have to deal with it.
Yep.
And that's why I kind of like it, because it's just a completely different structure. It wasn't like, it would have been really cheesy if there was just like another Fire Lord, a not Ozai, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And so, I always give extra points to sequels that are done well and actually like do a little bit adventuring themselves that don't do copy and paste. Because, I mean, it's really hard to hit it after you've already knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
And so, to do a sequel where you have to expand upon that and keep it interesting and unique is just...
difficult, for sure.
It's super...
Oh, yeah.
It's so much more hard or difficult to make a sequel to something that you weren't expecting to make a sequel to. And then to do it so well as Legend of Korra, I would put it on par with Last Airbender.
I still prefer Last Airbender. I'm not looking back on it, I could before I rewatched it, I could remember the stuff that happened in Avatar, but then I was like, all I could remember from Korra was when she fought Batu.
Right.
And then at the beginning, I remember she was kind of bratty. That was all I remembered about Legend of Korra.
Yeah.
So like,
fair,
it wasn't
but-
as, it didn't leave as much of an impression as
Well, I feel like
Avatar did.
could it have been because you were expecting to have the continuation of The Last Airbender?
No, I knew going into it that it wasn't.
Oh, okay.
Like I remember like when it got announced, I ended up watching it that first season right when it got announced or whatever years ago, and I knew they were like, it's not the next season of Avatar, it's a new show, it's a new Avatar. I was going into it, I was like, okay, we'll watch a new show.
Oh, okay.
I actually didn't know how much. I assumed there was going to be some, and there was plenty of crossover with characters, but
Right.
it was supposed to be a new show with different story, and it was fine.
Right.
I didn't mind. It's just it was an okay show. It didn't impact me like Avatar. Because I remember a lot of the different episodes. No, that's true. I've watched Avatar a lot more than Korra. I've only seen Korra 2 or 3 times now, and I've probably seen Avatar 4, 5, 6 now. But
That also reminds me of when I was talking about, or that doesn't remind me, but when I was talking about how characters aren't necessarily the manifestation of their tribes, Tenzin was a big one. He was no airbender, like he had no airbender mind.
No.
He was super connected to the physical world, like with his family and everything.
Oh yeah. Jinora was probably the best like embodiment of an airbender.
yeah.
Oh.
Well, that was,
No.
What?
What's their little brother?
oh,
Oh jeez.
I love him.
Miko?
Yeah.
Is it, what is
That's
it?
not and everything.
Yeah, and the farting. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah, he was a great character. I loved him.
He was.
Oh, dude, and when he got a little bit older and he turned into a sergeant, I was just like, yes, this little guy's getting very
So,
little character development.
You know what I was very
Well, that's what they
like,
let out of that earlier in the seasons.
Milo.
That's what it was. Because they let out of that because Tenzin taught him how to train like the lemurs. Yeah, he taught him. He basically got him down to like soldiers, and then he was like, maybe you just have fun and play with them because he felt bad, and then he's like, okay, that's a lot more fun. And then he just goes and fucking plays. I'm like, the dude's a little fucking. He's like,
Yeah, no, dude.
welcome to the general, boys.
Yeah, no, that's
We got a new boomy.
That's a character where I want to see the second part of Legend of Korra. It's just gonna be Mila.
So
There's a couple of really good characters that I would like that just got fleshed out more, but
you know what?
Milo's one of
you know
them.
what I was a little
It's
shocked
definitely
by?
harder to flesh out the characters.
You know what I was really shocked by? That Toph had what, 3 baby daddies?
Oh, that doesn't surprise me.
That completely surprised me. I didn't think she'd go like that far with it, and the fact that we still technically don't know what the third one is.
Bro, Toph would have been smacking up on Sokka if she could.
Yeah, but
Oh,
guess what?
man.
The 2 that we know aren't Sokka's kids.
I know. I like how I say something to Christina because there's a scene when they're crossing the Serpent's Pass.
3 baby daddy?
Yeah, there's 3.
baby
She had 3
daddies.
kids. I don't remember the third kid off the top of my head.
I think it was in shoot. She
Toph a whore.
Yeah. Anyway, she had 3 kids, and
and we know 2 of the dads, and neither of them is Sokka.
yeah.
So 2 of the kids she has.
Oh.
Neither are Sokka's
You know
kids.
she smacked. Like, yo, Sokka, you want to get some of these cheeks?
And then I was really upset that like Suki and Zuko happened.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Suki and Zuko happened.
Zuko and what was it, Mai?
Yeah.
They didn't work out, and so he ended up with Suki.
Yeah.
Comic books?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
So Zuko
Now.
took Sokka's Suki, and it's like, what? How and why?
Bro, you know what makes me mad about that is when they did their little adventure to the prison.
Yeah.
Boiling Rock, and then they were telling each other stories, and Sokka was like, yeah, my girlfriend turned into the moon, and then Zuko was just like, that's rough, buddy.
I love that
I'm
scene.
gonna- yeah, and then I'm like, now I'm gonna take your other moon.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
took your other girlfriend. That's rough, buddy.
Bro!
Sorry, bud.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we should just wrap it up here. I think it's enough for today, huh?
Yep,
Oh my
that's probably.
All right, so we're gonna
It was enough a while
Yeah, we're gonna finish
All right.
off.
So we're gonna try a Halloween themed podcast for next week.
I guess I don't know how. I don't know. Yeah, we'll talk about that. I don't know
I
what we're
have
gonna
a
do.
couple Halloween
Ideas?
themed anime that I want to talk about.
Okay.
I know what it is. It's gonna be real scary. It's gonna be 6 hours of podcast.
Oh God. I don't know if we can handle that much at once.
I couldn't handle
Okay.
this much.
Yeah. Right. All right. So we're gonna sign off now.
All right.